Hello, folks. Welcome back to the Night's Watch. I'm Jacob.
I'm Alex.
And I'm Tyler.
Welcome, Tyler. We got
Tyler.
we got another homie, another Mojave crewman.
Yeah.
How's it going, buddy?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Doing good.
Very good.
Much like Adin Hill, I'm fucking back.
Fucking back.
Yeah,
Welcome
welcome back to Alex, who's been stranded in New Jersey for the holidays.
I didn't even get to see the Devils or the Rangers play, so that's some horse shit.
Should probably cut that out. All right, well, a lot has happened. Our last episode was the Thanksgiving special with Kyler.
Yes.
Now we got Tyler.
Yes, sir.
Finally.
Finally.
Yeah,
got a lot of
hey, man, we
Tylers.
offered. You said you couldn't make it, man.
Hey, you know what?
Okay.
Schedules are schedules, dude. It's not
It
like-
happens.
But
Yeah, I mean, we can recap what's occurred in the last 2 weeks. I mean, we've gone 7-3, and then we had some 2 real fucking stinkers in there against the Caps and and then
Utah.
Yeah. But we've beaten really fucking good teams.
I think our last 3 have been a good showing.
Yeah, we beat the Jets, the Stars. We beat Anaheim. Anaheim was on a heater. They were like 7-3 or something like that in their last 10.
They had an identical record to us in their previous 10 games.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay.
And then Gibson was looking better. Dostal was pretty fucking incredible. But
I think my main takeaway since our last meeting is I remember us saying, like, dude, the month of November is so fucking busy.
So
the
critical.
longest road trip of the year. Everything's really cramped. All these back-to-backs. We're playing good teams. And I think our thought at the time was, this stretch of games in November could make or break us, Obviously, it's still relatively early, a little past the quarter mark. But,
like you said before, that American Thanksgiving, that's the test.
Yeah.
And we're what, 3rd place in the league as of this weekend?
I think so. And it wasn't pretty.
No.
A lot of those that road trip was not pretty.
No.
A lot of the way we won some of those games. But
we've talked about before. That's where you want to win those games like that. You want to win tight, games, difficult games.
It doesn't matter how it looks as long as it notches a win.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, do you guys think that the defenses look better? Like, aside from that Utah game.
Not on the road trip, but the last
recently,
4 or 5 games.
I think Hannafin's been showing
a little bit better. He had a rough start.
You got some Team USA juice.
Yeah. Adin Hill has
Korzak's
been good filling in
for White Cloud.
White Cloud's going to be back soon. He'll be back by the time we play again.
Yeah.
We don't play again until next Thursday.
How do you feel moving Korzak back down?
He'll ride the bench. I mean,
he'll. The way I view it, because I kind of had the same thought with Cole Schwint, or if it was going to be him or Holtz. He gets benched. I'm like, well, let's face it, it's good to have health for once, but we all know damn well there'll be another injury in about a week. It's hockey.
Plus, you have the benefit of you can swap both those guys in and out.
Exactly.
You don't have to send Schwint down because he could be the 13th forward. If you had to send Holtz down, you can because he's waiver exempt still.
Yeah.
So whereas you've got that.
Yeah, but I don't want him to be in that dumpster fire that's Henderson now.
Hey, we won last night 6-2, but it is a dumpster fire.
Yeah, I was checking. I was like, I should check in on Henderson. I'm like, dead last in the league. 300 winning percentage.
Dead last in the league. Fewest goals scored in the league by about 1 or 2 goals. Maybe different after last night. It might be third worst in the league.
Oh, okay. Wow.
We have the most goals against in the AHL too.
Yeah.
So Henderson's awful.
That photo of Brisson when he was the 3rd spur?
Yeah.
It looked like he had just woken up or some shit.
No. He had the ratty mustache, which I can't be talking about that. And his fucking hair was all over the place, and I was like, "Damn, I think he's taking. I think he took getting sent down pretty hard.
A little hard. He's probably been drinking a little bit. He is of age.
Oh. Yeah. Well, that's the problem. He's 23, and
Yeah, it's a little bit past.
Anyways, before we get into Henderson, which I'm sure we will at some point, a couple of things I wanted to touch on with that road trip. The Philly game. So that was the one that we had that crazy comeback in. Yeah. And I think at one point we were as low as 1% chance to win or something.
Yeah, because we were down by 2 or 3 goals at one point, I think.
So to me, I wanted to bring that one up because to me that kind of encapsulated all the bad things that have happened this season. It was dog shit goaltending, dog shit defense.
Yeah.
Went down way early.
Was that Samsonov?
We were
that was Samsonov.
3-0 going into the second?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I want to say we're down by 3 goals.
Oh God.
And
that was brutal.
I was kind of. That's when I was and that was the point where I was like, oh, dude, I have major worries. Like, this is
I'm not going to lie, dude. I turned it off after 3. And then when I got the notification that we put 2 back, I'm like, fuck, oh, fine.
Well, those East Coast games, they always start at like 4.
Yeah.
And so I don't get off work till 4:30. Then I have to drive home from North Las Vegas. So I'm just sitting there idling in rush hour traffic and just listening on the radio to the goals going in. I'm like, I'm going to jerk the goddamn wheel off this overpass. We did come back from that, obviously.
Yeah, won in a shootout.
And even then, I was not satisfied. I was like, you know what? Everyone's going to focus on the fact that we came back, but that was fucking inexcusable hockey.
Yeah,
like,
there's no reason
we're building these awful habits.
Yeah,
Because that was my concern. Like, we're playing really bad hockey, but then we're finding ways to win. And at a certain point, you're like, yeah, that's good. You find a way to win. That's what you want. You want that resiliency. But that had kind of become the script for like a couple weeks, and I'm like, no, like we got to stop playing like shit and like just go out there and like actually play a good game, like win a game like fucking 3-2, 2-1,
Yep.
So at that point, I was like, I don't know, man, we might be cooked. And then little did I know, later we would fucking turn it around,
beat the Jets.
Beat the Jets. But to me, where the first time I really had hope was, and it's funny because we lost that game against the last game of the road trip against Colorado.
That was a good game.
That was a solid one.
And then he'll only let in one shootout goal. It was a game winner. I mean,
exactly. But sorry if I'm rambling, but to me that was the first time where I was like, that was Golden Knights hockey.
Yeah.
That was shut down defense, good goaltending, limiting chances. And that's all. I'd be like, well, we didn't have anything in the third period. I'm like, well, no, it's because it was game 5 of a 2-week road trip.
Yeah. And then, they played a similar game against Winnipeg. And then I was
at that game.
Yeah, you said you were having a blast, and they played another similar game against Dallas too.
Exactly, and against not as notable of an opponent, but against Anaheim.
But Anaheim's been better. They've been scoring more. Their goaltending's been better. Like they've had like you said, they had a little run there that they were beating teams. They're having good games.
I think they're going to struggle. Zegras went off on injury. So
I saw. Did you see the play though?
I don't know what it was.
Because Carlson came behind him.
It was like a no contact injury.
Carlson came behind him, and then Zegras was skating backwards and just tapped the back of his skate onto Carlson's skate.
Yeah.
And then it was done. I don't know if is he
Usually
that?
Those are kind of dangerous. Right?
Yeah. I mean, he also has glass bones and paper tendons.
Glass bones and paper skin.
His heart attacks put him to bed every night.
Yeah.
Pretty much. But and that Colorado game, that was the night before Thanksgiving, right?
Yes.
So we're out. My dad, my stepmom were in town, and we're watching it here.
I was watching it in the hotel room in Delaware. I'm like all fucking jazzed up because I'm like, I'm not in New Jersey. I'm in Delaware and watching hockey. Yes,
best part of the trip, eh?
Yeah.
But
that was a great game.
Yeah. So I was like, oh shit, we might be back, and then we had that back-to-back at home right afterwards.
Yep.
First one, Winnipeg, Black Friday, took care of business. I was at that game. It was a very intense game. It felt like a playoff game.
Yeah.
And then, just because, again, it does bear mentioning, even though we've been better since then, but that 6-0 shellacking from Utah, that was fucking
That was rough.
I think that may have been a product of one,
exhaustion.
being on the road for so long and exhaustion, and the night before going hand to hand with the Jets. And the Jets are the best. They're the best hockey team in the NHL. I think they're now just behind Minnesota, but
I don't know. Well, the lineups might have changed. Let me see what we're at.
But it's the Jets, Minnesota, then us.
We're back and forth. Winnipeg above us, Minnesota, Washington.
Okay, Washington. Wow.
I know, right?
They jumped up. Well, so there's a three-way.
This is all without Ovi too.
Well, it's funny because you think of how everyone's attitude during the summer and everyone's preseason picks. Did anyone guess that it would be Washington, Minnesota, Winnipeg, and us at the top, and New Jersey?
No. I had maybe us in New Jersey, but not. We thought Washington was going to finish last or second to last in their division.
Yeah.
Minnesota,
they were dog shit last season.
Terrible.
Yeah.
They got destroyed by the Rangers.
And we're like, oh wow, they added.
Probably the game plans was able to implement more. Maybe Ovi bought in better. The goaltending's sure as shit way better this year.
I really do think So they added
defense
pieces.
is better, right?
They added Jacob Chikrin on the back end.
Rasmus Sandin too's had a killer year.
And then they added Pierre-Luc Dubois and
he's having a
Andrew
good year.
Mangiapane.
Yeah. But then also you got
none of those are like marquee names.
But there's guys on that team that are playing above their like Dylan Strome is having a fucking amazing season. Connor McMichael is having he's got like he's top 15 in goals scored. He's got more goals scored now than Ovi did before he went out.
Yeah, and honestly, I think it's just like a mindset thing.
It's got to be.
At first, I was like, oh great, this is just going to be this sad, pathetic showing where they just trot out Ovi every game. Like, don't worry, we'll get you to your goal record.
Yeah,
but no, like
Ovi's playing defense.
Exactly, like he's.
Oh yeah,
he's
on that one.
Yeah, God, where he
was that
stuck
wide
the,
open net? Was
he
that
stuck
that
the
got
stick
robbed?
in. Yeah.
But he's been great.
They're bought into winning.
Yes.
And then with winning comes Ovi's goals,
Everybody looks like they're excited to be playing together. Last year they all were like, we're coming to playing in Washington.
And then of course, Washington can't be relevant for more than 5 seconds before Tom Wilson's like, I'm going to be a piece of shit again. I'm going to bang someone's head into the ice.
Oh, that was who was that? That was Lawson Krause, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he just recently tried to eat a puck.
Yeah,
looks like a fucking chipmunk.
Couldn't happen to a nicer person.
That was exactly my first thought. I'm like, good. Get him again. Get him again on the other side.
You guys remember?
Couldn't have done more damage.
You guys remember the first game after we lost the cup? The first game that following season that they played here.
Oh yeah, I was
just
at that
like
game.
Absolutely murdered.
And then everyone cheered. I'm like, I remember going online after the game. We're like Vegas fans are disgusting. They're cheering for someone being injured. I'm like, well, it's Tom Wilson. So
it's Tom Wilson.
Like,
everybody hates Tom Wilson.
Someone, dude. It's
Tom Wilson will hit someone in the head full force and then laugh in their face as they're getting stretchered off the ice.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't feel bad at all.
Tom Wilson's a piece of shit.
Hey, you get what you give, right?
Exactly.
I mean, let's talk about the team more. I mean, talk about more about how everybody's doing, how we think they're doing well.
Yeah.
I had our number one point is
Return of the King.
Boys. Mark Stone.
Oh yeah, we can go.
Return of the King. Let's talk about that.
He looked good.
He did, and I don't know if you heard me because you were in front of me, and I kept nudging you and trying to, but I was like, I don't know if you can even hear me. It's so loud in there. Yeah, you were also wasted. I was like, damn. I was like, well, they're not.
No, I heard you in that. They're not
sheltering. Taking it easy with him. Because they meet first PK. They're all right. Get out there.
Yeah, first PK,
power play, PK. He was out there for the hard shifts. And
Yep. And he looked good. He looked fine.
Yeah, there's a.
He didn't look like past injured Stone when he would come back, right? He would play a slow start, slow roll.
Speak a little bit more.
It kind of felt like he just jumped right back in from where he left off.
Yeah. There was a few moments where I was like, pass didn't quite connect. Timing was a little off.
That'll come.
That's, to be expected. But honestly, he looked a lot better than deep down in my heart of hearts. I was terrified. I'm like, it's his back again. And they're going to try to do some janky rehab.
No, they said lower body, so I think it was his leg when he did that shot.
They say lower body, but
you never know. If you watch the play, he was injured. He twisted his lower leg and went on one foot and then twisted and shot in. So I think it may have been his quad or something. Yeah. But you don't, like you said, you don't want it to be that one injury that's nagged him his entire career. But he said last year after back surgery, his back's never felt better. He said this year, my back's never felt better. So I'm hoping it's like what with Haig. Haig had that lower leg. He looked good.
King has returned, and honestly,
an assist on the power play.
Yeah.
The two-man advantage.
And then Victor Olofsson too coming back. Yeah.
I haven't seen.
I think
it's been taking Olofsson a little bit longer to get into the swing.
But the Anaheim game, he had 2 assists.
Yeah,
that was his first full game. He looked really good against Anaheim.
I think the Anaheim game was the first one back where I'm like, oh, he has some real fucking jumps.
Yeah, he's watching the game, the Dallas game on Friday. He was up and down the ice. He was fast. He was forechecking, back checking. I'm like, he's back to he's like, I'm working hard. I need to secure my place in the team.
And then to bring it back to Stone for a second. First thing I noticed, the power play's back.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Because the power play was so high, and then it kind of.
Has our power play ever been this good?
No, never. It's never been more than middle of the pack.
Yeah.
We've never had a top 10 power play at any point in our entire.
We are that team now where you don't want to give us a power play.
Exactly.
Yeah. We've turned it. You say that it's like Edmonton 2 years ago, last year. You don't want to give them a power play.
Guaranteed goal every time.
But you look at them now, their power play is washed up. Their penalty kill is awful. Our kill's gotten better. It's like as we've progressed in the season, it's gotten
it started pretty rough, but
yeah, it was awful.
But
like we're starting to regress back, not regress to what we know. Whereas the power play is just shooting up, and you know what? Everybody gives Hurdle shit for being a power play merchant, but we've never had
sometimes
that.
you need
we've
a power,
never had that.
Sometimes you need a power play
So our
merchant.
power play unit's shaken up from last year, right? We don't have Marchessault on anymore.
Yeah, but you still have an elite shot.
Yeah, but is that what it would have taken to shake it up?
No, I think the game plan changed when you bring Hurdle in.
Well,
yeah, because he is that net front.
Because he's the net front. I told Jacob and I talked about this right when the trade happened. He's the net front presence that we've never had.
Because Stone was our net front last
but
season.
He could be pushed out because of his back, because of his age.
He's not a heavy.
He's not a heavy guy.
Compared
Yeah.
to
Hurdle's a fucking moose.
Yeah.
Hurdle's
Barbashev in
yeah.
front of the net.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hurdle, like Mark Stone's a thoroughbred, but fucking Tomas Hurdle's a fucking Budweiser, fucking Clydesdale.
Yeah, he plants his fucking.
He's not
stems,
moving,
dude. He's done.
Well, to bring it back to your question, Tyler, I think that is what the big change was, because if you think about it, Marchessault is a right shot. So we never really had a one-timer option. The way we would score on the power play.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Because Olofsson Dory are left-handed shots.
Yeah, and Eichel's, obviously they always say the defenseman's the quarterback. We all know Eichel's the quarterback for the power play.
Yeah.
He's always playing on that.
He runs it from the half wall, and he's looking for options.
Yep, he's playing on his strong side.
Yeah, and
that's right.
Yeah, so Marshy was the right shot. So the way they would do it is they would try to make some plays, break down the defense, and then give Marshy room so he could walk in and wire it. Now we have Olofsson, and then we have Dorofeev, Hurdle. They're all left shots. Is Hurdle a left shot or right shot?
Hurdle's a right shot. Dory and Olofsson are both left-handed shots.
And
they're always at the other opposite circle of Eichel.
Yeah, and then Theo's a left shot. So suddenly, when Eichel's working it, we have one-timer options.
And you have a shorter path from Eichel to the shooter than you've ever had before.
Yeah.
Because with
you don't have to meet him on his far side.
Meet him and then collect it and then shoot. Whereas you can just straight shot. We've seen it like 3 times with Dorofeev. When he was on the power play rips it in.
That was one good, other than the win, but that was one really great thing about that Philly game was that power play where it literally lasted like 3 seconds. It was
it went right
won
to
the draw, pass it to Eichel. Eichel passes it, and then Dory just one time,
whoopah! Yeah,
and the goaltender, he tracked it.
Yeah,
but it was in
that
one.
Get there in time.
That was 4-inch wide spot.
Yeah, that was actually a good game for was that Fedotov or Urson?
Yeah, it was Fedotov.
He actually had a really good game. He's been awful, but yeah, that's what I mean. Like this, like you said, this power plays never looked this good ever.
And it's in the offseason, right? We're all like, oh fuck, we let all these guys go, and what are our options? So we bring in, we lose all these core guys, and then we're like, okay, what do we bring in? Well, we're gonna bump up Dorofeev in the lineup. And then we brought in Victor Olofsson, and we're like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
But
I was
honestly,
worried. Yeah.
One thing those two guys have in common, they are just shoot first, instinctual.
That's what we
fucking guys.
Something we haven't had. Like the thing that frustrated me about Stevenson the most was he wouldn't shoot, but he had a really good shot.
Yeah.
He would take 1 pass, 2 passes too many when he'd be sitting right there. Yeah. Just shoot it. And you know what? Dory and Olofsson are like, okay. Like, we'll bury it. And Dory's got the second most goals on the team, only behind Barbashev. We might have 2 40-goal scorers this year for the first time we've had in our entire
Dorofeev, I think, is a topic in itself.
Yeah, I've got him written down. Yeah, I mean,
just the revelation that he's been for us.
He's the guy that we all wish Brendan Brisson was.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because Dory's only a year older than him, I think, or maybe even a year younger. Yeah. He's the same age as Brisson. But he is what we wanted Brisson to be, to grow into as a draft pick. You know what? Dory was drafted in like the 4th or 5th round, and you find those diamonds someplace. Mark Stone was a fucking 5th or 6th round draft pick. And Kirill Kaprizov, I don't think was drafted. So there's plenty of examples out there.
Marchie wasn't drafted either.
But
and
Dory,
we got the best out of him for those years.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. But Dory worked so hard to get where he is today, and that's, like you said, something you love to see, because he started AHL and just was working. And we saw him every year in Henderson. He was there for 3 or 4 years. Yeah. And you know what? Now he's playing top 6 minutes on a cup contender.
Yeah. And he could be on any team in the NHL.
He was on the top line. Yeah. He would be a top 6 forward. I'm sure Edmonton would
sell their soul to have him on that team.
Instead of having Victor Arvidsson on IR. We literally said that at the beginning of the season, oh man, you're going to have Victor Arvidsson for 10 games? Cool guys.
You're telling me 40-year-old Corey Perry isn't scoring goals? Like
Oh yeah, we haven't recorded since that stat when we were here for the Edmonton game cracked me up. It's like here's all the forwards with goals. It's a Draisaitl has 20 something or not 20, maybe whatever. The second most in the league. McDavid's got 13 or 14, and the next one was Corey Perry at 5.
Draisaitl has 19.
19, yeah. And Corey Perry has 5 goals.
I'm
like, that's... And I think I saw Edmonton fans like, well, Brett Kulak's got 5 or 6 goals. I'm like, that's not going to do it for anybody.
I want to actually see how many goals Corey Perry
He doesn't have a lot, even though he's playing top 6 minutes because Jeff Skinner's been dog shit. Victor Arvidsson's been injured.
Dude. Again, fucking off season, everyone was
salivating.
Everyone was salivating and circle jerking over. They added Victor Arvidsson and Jeff Skinner. My God.
Yep.
Jeff Skinner is playing fucking 4th line minutes. He looks fucking
awful, dude. And then
well, I can't see him because he's not in the top 50.
You probably can go to their team. Yeah, let me see.
Sorry, it doesn't go. It doesn't go.
It doesn't go that far.
It doesn't go that far back.
I had to do show more.
You're probably going to do show more on his own team. Let's see. Let me look at the Oilers.
Where are you, Corey?
Let's see. Corey Perry's got... Let's go goals. Corey Perry has 5 goals still. Oh, Zach Hyman now has 6 goals. You want to talk about a fucking fall from grace, guys?
Yeah.
Well, how come he's not... He's just not standing in the right spot all season.
Exactly.
I know, right?
Yeah, he's like doesn't have the perfect position because teams learn how to block that out.
It's like it works once.
Works once.
Yeah.
It's like the running quarterback in the NFL, right?
Yeah.
It works for one season.
Yeah.
And then
people
everybody's got tape. Yeah.
Everyone's like, hey guys, actually just kind of look out for this.
Yeah.
Just run a spy, and that's all they're doing.
Like, hey guys, if Zach Hyman's in front of the net, just like move him.
Just hit him. Yeah. just fucking
just
punch
stand
him
in front of
yeah.
him.
Just cross check him.
Just have the goalie just slide over a little bit.
Exactly.
Just cross check him in his kidneys until he's pissing blood.
You mean the Vinny DiHernay special on Mark Stone last season in the playoffs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Edmonton, that game, man. Again,
that was a great game. I'll give Stuart Skinner. Stuart Skinner had a great game. Aiden Hill had a great game. Both defenses were solid.
Probably one of the more exciting
very
games.
No, for real.
Yeah,
well,
very. That's that statistic that there hasn't been a 1-0.
I think I already left, or maybe I didn't when I found it, but basically this statistic came out. That was the first NHL game to have 0 penalty minutes and only 1 goal scored since 1944.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, you did. After the Blitzkrieg or something.
Yeah. I was like, the last time this happened, fucking, American forces were in the Ardennes.
Yeah, the Third Reich
80
was still
years
in power.
ago.
Yeah, they were a bit blissfully unaware of the Battle of the Bulge was about to happen. That was just insane.
What a stat! What a wild stat!
But that's a game you want. It's it happens, but that's a game you want to win and you want to play like.
My mom and my sister were at that game, and my sister was texting me. She 20 minutes left. She texted me. She's like, there's been no penalties, and I can't shame the Edmonton fans in front of us. This is bullshit.
Don't worry, they'll lose.
But I mean that is a statement game towards the discipline that the boys have.
That they have.
Yeah,
exactly. I agree.
That game could have been decided by a penalty.
Exactly, it could have. And they, like you said, discipline. That's the big thing. And then there's guys on there that, I know Draisaitl was hunting for penalties. He was there was players flopping. Like what's the kid's name?
Let's give it up for the refs then. For once.
Yeah.
Actually paying attention.
Podgolskin was flopping a little bit. Like he's been on a heater.
You know what that game really was to me? What the identity of that game was is it was like this titanic matchup between Jack Eichel and Connor McDavid. And they were both like, you know what? We're going to play the best defensive games we've ever fucking played.
Yeah. They both did. Who was the goal scorer of that game? Nick Waugh?
No, it
was Barbashev. Because because Bouchard actually... Barbashev. I was saying Bouchard and Barbashev at the same time.
Me and my good friend Bouchard.
Bouchard actually made a really good play because he got down and spread out and blocked the pass. And I'll give Bouchard that because he's been terrible. But he made a great play, but he just didn't let the puck didn't set underneath him and bounce off of him. And Barbashev was like, okay.
If I was an Edmonton fan, I would have been very upset that they lost on a goal that wasn't going in.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It was kind of one of those it was great for us, but if you're an Edmonton fan, you're sitting there what are the odds that the puck would literally bounce directly onto his tape? And you're like, oh, sweet.
Watching the Knights, every time that shit happens to us, I'm like, typical.
I know,
and then it happens for us, and I'm like, And so what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh, tough breaks. Them
Sorry,
breaks,
kids.
Them's the breaks.
Speaking of Barbashev, man, what, 13 goals, 14 goals?
Oh, man. So bring it up, Tyler. Bring it up, Tyler.
I got you.
He's in the top 25 for sure.
Yeah, he's got to be.
I know him and Dorofiev are up there.
Barbashev, 13 goals, 15 assists, 28 points, and he's a plus 13 on the
Goddamn.
Damn, 13 goals. So that puts him he's in 16th place, tied for 16th in goals. Holy shit.
God, what a monster. Absolute monster.
Yeah, that's insane.
And then again,
St. Louis is like, bro, what the fuck?
Yeah, I know, right?
But
well,
that's
they
our
had him
pro
playing
scouts.
they had him playing on the fucking fourth line.
Yeah, but also in St.
Well,
Louis'
Steve
defense.
was on the fourth line too, wasn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
Our pro scout, like we've said before, our pro
And
scouts.
Stevenson wasn't even playing center in Washington.
They
were using him on the wing.
Right?
I know
but
I've heard you
was
guys
our-
say this over and over again, but our talent scouts are they're
Yeah.
living in the future, dude.
Yeah,
No,
maybe
for
not
real.
the amateur scouts, but the pro scouts.
Pro scouts.
Holy
They're
shit.
doing
What are
fucking
they?
4D chess.
Yeah.
Like, hey, yeah, you know that guy from St. Louis that just hits everything? I think he can also be over a point per game.
He can score 40
Let's
goals
put him on
in a
the
season.
top line.
Yeah, fuck
You know
it.
that guy
Let's
that
put him with Jack Eichel.
you know that guy that didn't even play in our Stanley Cup game against the Capitals and barely plays for the Capitals? He could be a second line center, right, guys?
Yeah.
One of the fastest in the league.
Yeah,
let's
one of
put
the
him on
fastest
second
players.
line.
Yeah.
Not to wax poetic about Stevenson because he's gone, but
Do you feel
I
like
still remember like when we acquired him, I was like, oh, finally, we got a good fourth line center to replace fucking whoever left that year.
Nosek.
I was like, finally, we got someone to play with Carrier. Then fucking by the end of the year, he was our first line center for that playoff run where we got to the conference finals. I was like, God damn.
Yeah.
do you feel like these players that we're pulling or picking out of these like fourth lines and third lines or bench riders carry with them that misfit mentality?
100%.
when they come in?
They have to.
Easy.
They got it, right?
That's what the team is built on is picking up the
Like
pieces.
we're taking your scraps.
Yeah,
And
we're
the
scraps, so
mold
the
them
scraps
into
are going to be good.
Fucking champions.
And that's what kills me when people are like, well, players aren't going to want to play in Vegas. Like, horse shit. Players
they're
love to play in
like-
Vegas.
It's like a Holtz.
Yeah.
When he came, he's like, man, it's hot here and I love the heat. It's dry. I love this. Like it's so nice
Well,
here.
he's from like Sweden, so
Yeah.
he's probably like, oh yeah, there's
yeah.
It's
And,
not
like,
the-
guys want to play here. Like they can't give me that bullshit.
I want Holtz to break out. He's had so many.
He's playing a good game.
Right there.
He's playing a better game than he has it in New Jersey.
that stretch
He's
when
just not scoring.
Well, that stretch
He's right there.
Every time.
that stretch when we were missing a lot of guys,
Yes.
he was looking pretty rough. I think it's because he was kind of bouncing around. He didn't have a centerman, and the team as a whole was struggling, right? So I don't want to put it too much on him, but you guys are right. The last like week or two, 3 weeks even.
Yeah.
I forgot what game it was, but one of the games we had a goal, and I don't think he got a point, which is a shame. But the goal only happened because of him, because he took this fucking route to the net and just forced his way in. And he's not that kind of player, right? Everyone's like, oh yeah,
he's a bit smaller guy.
He's small. He's all talent. He's like a shooter. He's like Marshy. Like, nah, like he fucking drove to the net the way fucking Hurdle does, and it created the opportunity. And I don't think he had the touch on the puck, so he didn't get a point. But that goal only happened
because of what he set up. Yeah.
So
on Friday, Schwint was scratched and Holtz was in. But I think the benefit now that you have is you can interchange those two guys. Because Schwint plays a very different game than Holtz does.
I was going to say, do you think they're interchangeable as players?
Schwint's interchangeable in that all you have to do is move one guy around on the wing. So, if Schwint plays, that means he's going to take the center spot of Watt. Watt just needs to go slot back up with Hurdle. That's it. You're good. You're good. That's the end of it.
I love the idea of that, but I need
how to
Watt
come
third,
down.
Man.
Yeah.
Watt's such a monster on the third.
Watt.
Well, speaking of storylines, we haven't gotten to the big one yet, in my opinion, but
Nick Watt.
to me, a big one that's been recently isn't it fucking insane that, like, Nick Watt and, like, Keegan Kolesar and Brett Howden, like, the lineups have changed, but basically whatever line they're
wherever
on.
you put them, they're great.
That's basically been our second line.
Kolesar,
Watt, and Hurdle, that was basically our second line for, like, 8 weeks.
When we got Kolesar as what everyone was expecting to be the replacement for Reeves, right?
Yeah.
Like, fourth line right wing, and you like to fight. All right, that's all you're ever going to be.
That's not his game.
Not his game.
He's
I
a really
think we
good.
were all duped into thinking that.
Yeah.
He's got a really great two-way game. He's every year he's in the top 5% of players in defensive metrics.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's a hit leader too.
He's a hit. He leads league in hits every year. He doesn't take a lot of penalties.
No, for being a hit leader.
Yeah, he doesn't take a lot of penalties, and he's got a really good scoring touch when he's there.
Yeah,
like
he has deceptively nice hands.
Yeah, he's got really good hands. He's great on the deflections.
This comes back to something we talked about before the season. There was that interview, not an interview. It was like at the golf tournament or something, and Chris Chapman asked
that's right. I know what you're talking about.
Cassidy, like, oh, hey, there's been a lot talked about, losing Marshall So's goal scoring, like, but what about the leadership that he brought? And he said, like, well, I think we have a lot of leadership in the room. And he's like, and he said specifically, he's like, a guy like Holsar, a guy like Howden, he's like, I think those guys are ready to have a voice in the room and like establish themselves.
Yeah, and look, Howden got got a deal, and Howden now has a career high in goals as of this year.
It's fucking December.
It's December. He's had more goals this year by December than he's ever had in his entire career. And he was a number 2
Merry
pick.
Christmas.
Like what, a number 2 pick or something like that? Number 3, the top 5, I think.
I don't think it was that high. He was a first rounder.
I think he was more. Howden. I think Howden was a top 5 pick.
I think he was more like 15 or 16 or something.
I don't know about that.
He's a first rounder though.
He's a first rounder for sure. I think he had a higher pick. I think he was picked by the Rangers super high.
Well, let's find out, Alex.
Brett
Let's
Howden.
consult the internet.
Oh, well, you're right. You're not right that he's 15th. He was drafted 27th.
Okay, well, we were both wrong.
We were both wrong. Yeah. And I was also wrong.
Other than the part when we said it was definitely in the first round.
Yeah, exactly. He was drafted by the Lightning.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Then
I'm still on Colasar's stats: 6 goals, 4 assists, 10 points for the season.
Yeah,
10 points, but like
he's a +2 on the ice.
+2.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And that's
he does
a
so
limited
much.
amount of time. He's everywhere all the time. Like,
when I see him on the ice, I'm not worried about any sort of like defensive plays.
Yeah. And that's a lot of teams when they see their fourth line out there, they're like, "Oh fuck!" Like, let's see how sideways this goes.
That's what makes the Vegas Golden Knights so different. Is
Elite
all of our
lines.
Our lines are scoring lines.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't matter.
And even if they're not scoring, they're defensively sound.
Yeah.
They're not letting goals in. If they're not scoring, they're still not letting goals in.
There are times when that line, whether it was this year in the playoffs or whatever, we're like, "Oh god, they got caught out there against the McDavid line." I'm like, they'll be fine.
They'll be okay.
I just feel like we get scored on most when our first and second lines are out.
You would think that, but somehow Jack Eichel and Barbashev, they're all like plus 15.
I say, which by the way,
those guys are monsters. Yeah, I know they just take it over.
So spoiler alert, Tyler, I need you to find Jack Eichel's stats because I'm about to hit to me what is the big storyline here.
I got you, brother. Hold on, let me just scroll all the way to the top of the page.
So at what point?
All right, let me know when you're ready.
At what point does it become a serious conversation in the NHL that Jack Eichel is a serious contender for the Hart Trophy?
Since we started the season.
I would say
no, for us, but like I'm waiting for the general populace.
You know what? He needs an Edmonton logo on his
exactly.
sweater, apparently.
Or Avalanche one,
or an Avs logo.
So
or a Tampa Bay Lightning,
I was reading the score, and they have him in a top 5 in their Hart rankings, but they gave it above him, even though Eichel's got a better season.
Edmonton's going to do Edmonton things, and they're going to fucking coast through half the season, then rock it up to the top. And
I don't know. It's this year's like, there's too much parity in the league this year for them to do that again. Columbus is in a playoff position, I think, right now.
That's
in the
insane.
East. Columbus is like in 6th place, 5th or 6th place. I'm pretty sure they've got a decent record. And Elvis Merzlikins had a pretty.
Columbus is. They're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points out of, or 5 places out of wild card.
Yeah, but that's not bad in the East.
So in the conference, they are 13th. I mean,
they've got their. Where are they?
Right there, 13th.
They've got 11. They have one less game won than Ottawa. Philly.
It's not a pretty record, but it's way better than they had any right of being.
With what happened?
The point being,
with Johnny Gaudreau,
The point being that every team except Nashville looks like they could be back in it at any moment. Like,
dude,
Nashville.
Let's move to around the league. Holy shit, Nashville hasn't gotten any better.
Wait.
Hold on,
Jack Eichel for Hart. Jack Eichel for Hart.
Is this thing on?
It's on.
Jack Eichel for Hart.
So let's stick on that Jack Eichel.
Yeah, let's continue that
before we go. I would say right now, there's only...
I got his stats up whenever.
In front of him, I only will put 2 other players in front of him that are in front of him in the race. I would say it's Nathan MacKinnon and it's Kirill Kaprizov. And then it's Jack Eichel.
Kaprizov for sure.
To me, it's between him and Kaprizov, only because... And maybe he'll get the sulky instead, but Jack's defense is so fucking good. Well, I forgot what game it was, but there was a game where there was a 2-on-1 break.
Oh, yeah, and he batted,
It was
the Philly game.
He played it like a fucking defenseman. He was back skating like a defenseman, controlled the gap perfectly.
Played the pass perfectly.
They passed it, and he fucking blocked it. I'm like,
So
most forwards can't do that.
No, like the Philly forward did the right thing in lifting the puck, tried to go over him.
Yeah.
And Jack read the whole puck the whole way and snapped it down, controlled it, and got it back out.
Tyler, hit us with his stats.
It's insane.
So Jack Eichel, for this season so far, 9 goals, 30 assists, 39 points, and a plus 12 on the ice.
Jesus.
And if you do that side by side with Kaprizov, 17 goals, so he's banging.
He's been scoring,
25 assists, which is also really fucking good. 42 points and a plus 18 on the ice.
And that speaks more to
Kaprizov is fucking.
That also speaks more to how good Minnesota has been, and Matthew Boldy has been insane. Marco Rossi's been really good.
But the problem for me, or at least in my opinion, when you start to concentrate your talent into 1 or 2 players versus how we play all 4 lines.
Oh yeah.
When he has a bad day, when he goes on injury. Now what do you got? Kaprizov.
Oh yeah, then you're hoping Matthew Boldy steps up.
Yeah, so they're going to run into the same thing Edmonton runs into when they have their.
Same with MacKinnon. What happens if MacKinnon gets injured? Yeah, or just
when
really
they don't
good.
Produce. When those 2 guys don't produce.
Yeah.
You're relying on the other players that can't do shit.
Yeah, but you could also make the argument that only 2 of those players are on good teams right now. Colorado's been better. They beat us, but that was in a shootout. But they haven't been great. Minnesota's a wagon. We've been really fucking good.
That was literally the one good game that Georgiev has had all year.
All year. So I was right before that. I knew we were going to lose this game because during that game, fucking TNT goes, "Oh yeah, Alexander Georgiev has had this 8-9 whatever. He had a 900 above this point. I'm like, he's gonna win. He's gonna win this game." And that was the only game all fucking November that he had above 900. The game right after, he had 5 goals scored on him.
Got pulled in the first, didn't he?
Yeah. And then they traded Justus Sanunin for Scott Wedgwood, and Scott Wedgwood has been bad.
Good old Forgiev.
Yeah.
Forgiev.
McKinnon's incredible, Rantanen's incredible, Lehkonen's really good. That team's gonna be sewered by goaltending.
Yeah. That's been their strategy for the last 2-3 years is just to outscore.
Basically, since they won the cup.
So Darcy Kemper had a good run, and they said we don't need it. Wasn't like a dominant run, right? But he had above 900.
Yeah.
With most goaltenders in the league, they have an above 900, and he had good stats, but then they're like, we can do that without him. Turns out you can't. You really can't, because Georgiev has been a joke for 3 years since they won the cup. He's been awful.
At this point,
and he's been increasingly awful. He went from being
it's been it's not that bad. That's serviceable, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
that's become part of their game plan, right?
And
outscore your problems.
He'll stop what he stops, and we'll rely on the offense outscoring the defense.
It pisses me off when people say that about Hill, like, because after we won the cup, I remember that being like the talking point, like, oh, well, you just turns out you don't need a world beater in the net. You just get any random goalie and you'll be fine.
Nope.
I'm like, no, Hill was actually really good.
Last year, up
until
his injury, he had the best stats in the AHL. He was better than Connor Hellebuck, better than Sorokin, sure shit better than Georgiev, better than every other goaltender in the league. He had the best stats up until his injury. And then his injury, I think, was lower body, so of course he's never going to feel right. He just didn't have a good rest of the season. It happens. He's probably tired.
Yeah.
Did a lot of work. He started very slow this season. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. But his last, I would say, 5 starts he's put together have been really, really good games.
I was actually looking at the other day. Since November.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
November 14th, I think. Yeah. He's been fucking locked.
He's been unstoppable. I think it was what you said, 6-1 or.
Eichel went into the locker room and he was like, "Dig in right now."
He just played. He probably just played that audio and it's like, "Hey, Hill, just laugh a minute, just giggle."
Yeah. I just need to see a smile, bud. Yeah. That's all I need.
Yeah. No, he suited up.
He was fucking. I don't know if you noticed that in the Dallas game. He looked like how he did in the Cup, where he. That's what I love about him.
Relaxed.
I was gonna say he was angry. Like when people came into his like when Mason Marchment was pulling his shit. Like, he was fucking getting pissed.
Oh, when he snowed Marchment, he was ready to go.
He was like shoving people. He was like shoving people, taking shots at people.
That is when I would have wanted someone like Reeves on the ice to.
Yeah.
Say,
well,
hey,
I think
you don't do that, but
like not a lot.
Well, if you really looked at who was out, I don't think Haig was out for that.
I forgot
because I would say Haig is taking the place as like.
I think Wall might have been the one to like.
Oh yeah, Wall's
bump.
And that's the thing, and that
was right after he snowed him.
Yep.
Like,
to me,
be like,
you don't have to fight.
When you look at the Cup final, we didn't really fight, but Florida they're being pieces of shit, right? And that's why they got all those calls against them. I think our team is really good. Like they're mean, they're pricks. They'll take their pound of flesh. They don't necessarily be like, all right, let's drop the gloves at center ice and fight. It's more like every play they're gonna fucking grind you down.
Look at like every line. Like you got Barbie on the first, the second has Howden, and he's a piece of shit too to play against. And then the next line's got
Petro, man, fucking Petrangelo.
Petro Hagen.
He's like such
he wanted to cut Draisaitl's fucking hand off.
No, exactly. Like he's like such a like a good old Canadian Boy Scout like in real life. And seems so friendly and prim and proper, and
serial killer
stars in his eyes. When he's on the ice, like he's a fucking prick.
Remember
last year in the playoffs where he fucking backhanded someone?
Oh yeah.
Like I forgot who it was, but there's a Dallas player that was getting up in his shit, and he just turned around and rocked him. The guy was bleeding.
Yeah.
Fortunately, it led to a power play goal against us. But you know what?
He did the same to Draisaitl during that series.
Oh yeah,
I basically two-handed fucking like swinging a sword on him.
I maintain that fucking that was the turning point in that series.
Yeah,
everyone thought it was going to turn in Edmonton's favor, but I feel like that was.
It was starting to turn in Edmonton's favor already.
Yeah.
They're starting to beat us down.
And I feel like that was the moment where like Vegas was like, actually, fuck these guys, because Edmonton was taking their cheap shots too, and there was
of course.
No one was talking about
spearing everybody.
Oh, dude, he's such a rat to me. Draisaitl.
He is a fucking rat.
He's like a Kachuk almost, like
I would say the difference between like the rats we know, like like Marchand and Kachuk, but they're skeevy little players, and they'll like do chippy things in front of them. They're not spearing people whenever they get the chance. Matthew Kachuk, again, a rat, shit guy to play against.
Yeah.
But you would love to have that guy on your team.
Of course.
Like, whereas Draisaitl, I'm like, you would love the scoring, but he doesn't seem like a very fucking cool person to be around.
No, he's been living in McDavid's shadow the last
could you
4
imagine?
years.
And then to me,
there's a secret fire inside of him. He's like, I hope this guy fucking gets
I'm surprised he resigned in that case. Make it out on your own.
Once you lose a game 7, dude, like
true. Things go through your brain that are like
the closest you're gonna get. Bro.
Yeah,
I feel like it goes one way or the other. It's either like I want to use this as motivation, or it's like actually, or I might just be broken for the rest of my career.
Use this as either a white hot rage, or you're gonna turn into Corey Perry and miss like lose every Stanley Cup final you're ever in.
But we'll get back to current events. But real quick, that Edmonton series and Petro being a prick. To me, the best point was, like I said, the media was just in this Edmonton fucking frenzy. They did not give a shit how dirty they were playing. All the focus was on everything we did. And then the part of that series that really got me was when he got suspended, and then he basically had a press conference just so he could get up and say, like, yeah, I did it, I'll fucking do it again. I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry.
Yeah, well, I feel like I played sports, growing up, and there are the kids that you play with that play for fun, and then there's the ones that are like, this is going to be my life.
Yes.
And I imagine that's still valid at a professional level. You got the guys that are playing. I mean, granted, they're all getting paid to do it, right?
Yeah.
But there's a mentality.
Yes.
That champions have versus your run-of-the-mill professional player.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I think it's a spectrum. There's like the guys like, oh yeah, I'm getting paid good money. I'll use my abilities and I'll make sure I eat clean and all that.
Yeah.
And then there's those psychopath fucking. Did you see that fucking that video of Sidney Crosby the other night where he's just staring into the I
felt like I was assaulted after watching that video. That was the most intense fucking stare.
Yeah, well, because they gotten blown out the night before, and then before that game, he's just sitting there with dead eyes, glaring. Like, and then guess what? They won that game like fucking like 6-2 or something.
And that's that.
And that's on a bad team. That's him. That mentality was so strong that you put the team on his back. It permeated
throughout the locker room, dude, and everyone felt it. Because you didn't want to be the guy that let them down.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. And that's that kind of. I feel like the Golden Knights have a locker room full of guys like.
No, exactly, and like it sounds cheesy, right? When they're like, "Oh, well, rings in the room." No, that shit matters. Like,
yeah, fuck yeah.
I mean, obviously they all have rings now.
They know what it takes.
Like, sir.
And once they get to that point where it's do or die, they're doing. They're dying doing it.
Yeah, exactly. They fucking.
It's not a shucks, we'll get them next year, guys. It's we're gonna get them here, or I'm going to jump off a building.
Yeah, no, exactly, and like, because especially like Stone's like that, fucking Eichel's like that, Petro's like that. Fucking
they're serious. Yeah.
Martinez was like that.
Yeah,
even though he was kind of a goofball, but. I mean, 2-cup winner, 3-cup winner. Like,
I feel so great for Martinez? Obviously not because he's in Chicago. The Detroit Lions are currently the best team in the NFL.
His premonition is coming true.
Finally, it's coming true. Every year, Super Bowl. Detroit Lions. Finally, this year, this man's got a
yeah. It's not going to be funny anymore.
No, it's not. He's going to be like, shit, I got to change.
You got to pick, I don't know, what, the Titans? Who is the dog shit?
Raiders. The Raiders. Oh, yeah, the Raiders. We'll let this podcast everybody listens already knows that we all hate the Raiders. We all, I think we made a joke about
like everyone else that lives in Vegas.
I lived in SoCal when the Raiders were in LA still, and all of my friends, all of my friends' families, extended or not, were all fucking Raider fans.
I hate it.
I couldn't get away from it.
Yeah. I have a lot of family from SoCal. From NorCal and SoCal, they've lived in both places. They're like, oh, Raiders.
Raiders. This is Raider Nation. I'm like, no, it's not.
It hasn't been Raider Nation since like what, the fucking 80s.
Yeah, when the Raiders just cheated their way to victory.
Yeah.
See, I've never been that into football. I don't have a team. The way
I don't either.
The way I've always judged like teams is like how much I hate their fan base. And the way I would judge that is, I worked at that Baskin-Robbins down the street for like 10 years while I was going to school. And you get slices, much like here, I'm sure. You get slices of life every day. All sorts of people
every type of personality.
And then you can't help but notice what kind of gear they're wearing. And just from interactions with people, I know for a fact, to the day I die, I will always despise the Cowboys and the Raiders.
Yep.
Because their fans were the meanest, douchiest, fucking loudmouth.
It reminds me a lot of not so much Edmonton fans, of Dallas fans.
Oh, my sister told me.
My new hated.
Yeah. It's not so much
base.
Edmonton.
Not new, but since our cup run.
Edmonton, I had a problem with it, but there's one game when they were like actually like had a good team before the last couple of years. We went. My wife and I went to a game against them, and we were just talking to these two guys in Edmonton jerseys. And we're just like, yeah, talking about hockey. And he's like, he was pointing out the younger people around. He's like, these guys don't know fucking the decades of fucking nightmares we lived through. Like these kids don't understand how terrible it was. Like that's what he's like, because they're super cool people. We're shooting the shit, talking everything. And I was like, oh, he's like, oh, have a good game. I'm like, well, you too. It's like I met plenty of like Edmonton fans that are like not terrible, whereas Stars fans, oh my god, they're just all so toxic.
So. You're both right in the sense that they're both awful. I think you're giving them a little too much credit, Alex.
Maybe because I had a speak with
I guess you had the one
guy.
Yeah,
but I know last year in the playoffs, your parents had a terrible experience.
Oh, yeah. They said every game they were just fucking awful. And, like, obviously there's fuck all to do in Edmonton. So everyone's like, they travel.
Either you do hockey or you fucking ride a fucking horse. Like, that's.
Yeah, they're like, they travel so well because they're such fanatics. And I wish every fan bases like this. I mean, they travel so well because there's nothing to do in Edmonton. There is shit to do in Vegas.
Yeah, there's a reason why Canada fans travel so well. Other than Toronto, where the fuck are you gonna
Canada.
Do? Yeah.
Well, Vegas has a phenomenal traveling fan base.
Oh yeah.
I forget which game it was recently. When the Knights scored, it was louder than
probably Anaheim.
Yeah.
that doesn't count because
that arena was a joke.
It was about half full.
Not even half. I would say maybe a quarter.
That looks like a Silver Knights arena on a fucking Wednesday.
I'm including both teams being on the benches too, and all the staff.
I'm pretty sure there was more Golden Knights players than there were Anaheim fans.
Yeah, that's a whole nother topic. I'm like, how do these franchises survive when their fan base is just not going to home games?
I feel that
your team has to be good for you to go to a game.
But I would argue sometimes, but the Panthers are good, and there's not a lot of people at those games.
Really?
They still have attendance.
It's been a lot better.
It's been better, but then
they also play in Sunrise, right?
Yeah, well, it's
the arena
outside of Miami.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's a suburb of Miami. But you have to reach out to the fans better.
No,
there.
that's true. Yeah.
But then also you've got. I feel bad for areas like Phoenix, like Arizona. Yeah, that was a small arena, but that place was packed every night.
Yeah.
But that's
it's
all.
like $10 to go.
It's all like that's all Alex Marullo's fault too. I mean, we already made our stance on how much we hate that man, but at what point? Like I look at it like Buffalo. How long can you sustain a team of being that bad?
They're fucking diehards in Buffalo, dude.
Yeah. Oh, God.
I mean, my good buddy Chris. He's a Sabres fan.
Yeah, he comes here, right? He's always in the Buffalo.
But he's got a Tuck Sabres jersey, which is acceptable.
Our friend Mike, his favorite joke. He's
who won that trade, by the way?
Our friend Mike's favorite joke. He's like, I see that guy in
locker room cancer, dude.
I see that guy in Buffalo gear when I go by, and I always want to say, I always want to put a hand on his back and go, "It's okay, you're okay, buddy."
Yeah. Well, he's got the Bills, so
the Bills have been great. Yeah, but he's got the Bills. They've gotten to the edge, and they've not.
Yeah, what I'm getting at is Buffalo fans. The fan bases are also different regionally.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
They will risk their lives.
Oh yeah,
in a
Buffalo.
whiteout.
Oh yeah, for
during
sure.
the winter to go watch the Bills. Watch the Sabres.
That's true.
So I guess it depends on the region too, right?
Yeah.
Anaheim, like I said, I was born and raised in Southern California, and fans are very aloof.
Yes.
Like they've got so much other shit going on in their lives in SoCal. Such a fast-paced lifestyle.
If it's not the Dodgers, it's nothing.
I'm saying there's like fucking like 20 teams there. So
but that's
every sport has like 5 teams.
Yeah, you'd have to get a second job just to support your local team.
Because you've got the Dodgers and the Angels, and then football's got the Chargers and the Rams. And then NHL's got the Kings and then you got soccer is such a big thing out there in SoCal.
You're got the Galaxy and LAFC.
Yeah. And plus you're closer to Mexico.
And you got
that
NBA.
Area. Yeah, and you got NBA is going to dominate.
Yeah,
of course, the fucking
So
Lakers.
imagine being a fan of all those teams. You're like, how are you going to?
Your entire paycheck, if you have even if you have like a good paying job, everything that you earn is going to go.
So I understand that hockey is probably on the lower end of all of those.
It's totally.
It's not a dominant.
I don't think a team's ever going to leave SoCal. Just because of the revenue they can generate from solely being in SoCal.
Yeah.
It's like the population is so big that even if they're only bringing in 1%.
I can't imagine what the
1% is bigger than other cities.
Just by having an
and then plus
arena
the other thing is like, well, Canada loves hockey. Why don't they add another team in Canada? I'm like, it's because the American teams are subsidizing you guys to be up there because no one's going on a Tuesday night. No one's going to a fucking Calgary.
Dude, like Winnipeg can barely fill out. Winnipeg has like the smallest building in the league, and they can barely fill it out. And they're fucking one of the best teams in the league right now.
They can only fill it out in the playoffs. Ottawa has been good. They can't get anybody in the arena. Toronto's literally a fucking corporate hellhole that you're lucky.
Before we get too deep into the economics of the league, I'm going to reel it back and just say Edmonton fans are shitty.
They can suck my
Dallas
ass.
fans are shitty.
Dallas
really
fans
bad.
are shitty. That Dallas game that I went to, the fucking rodeo's in town, as we in Las Vegas know.
Hey.
So there was like a goddamn 29-minute delay on Tropicana to even fucking get there.
Oh, yeah.
I'm walking through the MGM. It's swamped shoulder to shoulder with fucking Cowboys and like fucking...
My wife flies back from Denver. Because we had to take separate flights home. She had to go do work meetings. She's flying back from Denver. She texts me from the plane. She goes, "There's a lot of cowboy hats on this plane. Is there a rodeo in town?" And I look up. I'm like, "Only the biggest one in the nation, babe." Shit.
Yeah, and there's like red, leathery, middle-aged men
leather
with like T-shirts that say shit like "Lions, not sheep," and I'm like, Jesus. and then intermingled with that was Stars jerseys, and then me and my mom were eating a hot dog in New York, and a guy in a Stars jersey and a fucking otter mask walks by, and I was like, what the fuck?
That's actually pretty sick.
It kind of freaked me out. It looked like a horror movie for a second. I'm like, what? I'm like, oh, it's an otter. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's actually pretty sick. I like when players like lean in absurdity. Yeah. Like how us and flamingos and donuts.
Mm-hmm.
Now with otters, just like we're gonna wear otter masks.
Or speaking of Ottinger, Calgary fans casting spells at him.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
But yeah, it felt like I was in enemy territory in my own fucking building, and the way they were during the fucking the cup run throwing fucking popcorn at Adin Hill and fucking throwing full cans of beer on the ice. Like
that was the most toxic I've ever seen in an NHL arena. Yeah, I was expecting that from Edmonton with how pissed off they were getting.
Yeah.
But they left the arena and they were fine.
And part of me is like, I get it. And if you're going to be spending like $130 on tickets, $200 on tickets, like part of me is like, yeah, I'm entitled to throw shit on the ice if I want to. But at the same time, like, you got to fight that urge.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to have some sense of decorum.
Yeah. Or then last year when, remember that story? That guy went to Dallas, or a fan went to Dallas.
Yeah.
For a game, and he got jumped outside of the arena and like had a broken jaw and had to get like jaw surgery and everything. Like,
no one talked about that.
No one talked about that nationally, but they're like that happened. Once your fan base, anybody in your fan base decides to like beat a person near to death, I'm like, I can't respect you. There's like that thing happened with I'm a Dodgers fan, but there's a thing happening with
Giants.
Yeah, there's a thing happening with Giants fan in Dodger Stadium. They beat the guy, I think, almost to death or close to it.
Yeah,
I'm like,
they put him in the hospital.
I'm like,
with his son,
guys,
too.
what the?
He had a son there.
It's fucking sports. Like,
that's wild.
It's a sporting game. Watch it, get drunk, talk some shit, go home. There's nothing about sports that are worth you going to prison for your entire goddamn life.
Yeah. So point being, T-Mobile was flooded with fucking Cowboys and Rednecks. And a lot of people, I was like, you know what it really was, is they weren't wearing Stars jerseys. They were just like in streetwear, like casual clothes or cowboy clothes.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think they're just in town for the rodeo. And they're like, oh, there's a Texas team playing. Let's go see them.
Hey, we're playing the Texas Stars too. I mean, like,
all
of Texas is in fucking Vegas this weekend.
God,
they can just watch their teams lose here then.
Yeah.
We got one down, one to go, right?
I know, right? I'm like, yeehaw, get out of my fucking
yeehaw, motherfucker.
So I feel like
should we get back on track a little bit?
That's we've been reporting for about an hour?
About an hour. Let's we've been talking about the league. Let's around the league. We talked about scoring leaders. We talked a little bit of everything.
We talked about
but the biggest news. One more thing before the big thing.
Okay.
What's the one more thing? I think you have one more thing.
I was gonna say really quick. One last thing about Vegas is Hill's been great. Samsonov, little shaky.
Been kind of regressing back.
We didn't talk about defense. We didn't talk about offense or forwards.
Shea Theodore has been in fucking sicko mode for like 2 weeks.
Theodore's on
Norris. Fantasy team has been reflecting that.
You got him.
Shea Theodore is on Norris Trophy like projection. If it wasn't for like Cale Makar and Josh Morrissey, this man would be chugging fucking straight ahead.
Yeah, he's
Petro's been better. McNabb's been McNabb. There's nothing wrong with McNabb.
Dude, McNabb. If you could set your watch on one thing, it's McNabb's performance.
It's consistent.
That dude is a rock.
Yeah,
and it's funny because like I feel like the thing with him when we signed that contract, like his age. Well, with all the defensive injuries, he was setting his record in ice time every game for like a while.
He plays what his age and his game plays very well.
Yeah, he knows his role and he plays it.
And there's a reason why Martinez is still with teams. Like he's similar. I saw a post on our hockey. They're like, "What does Alec Martinez even do?" Because his metrics were super negative. And like one of the first comments was like, "That just means he's on the ice a lot, and he was on for a lot of goals. It doesn't mean he had a bad game." And they pulled up his stats from the game. Like, "Oh look, he led the team in blocked shots, and he's 7 years old."
The dude. I don't think he feels pain anymore.
No, I don't think he has no nerves.
He stopped feeling pain about 4 years ago.
I don't think he feels anything below both of his knees.
There's no way. His nerve tree, if you X-rayed it, is from the waist down gone.
Yeah. Just no feeling, no pain.
Yeah. And then Hay came back. He's looking better now that he's got a few games.
Hannafin's looked a lot better.
Korzak, he was really rough in that Philly game. Like two of those games, 2 of those goals were like more or less directly his fault. But he bounced back. He's been pretty good.
Has there been any news about what's his name?
Whitecloud?
No. Why did I forget his name?
Hutton?
He's number 7. Hutton, yeah.
Hutton. He's doing better from what I heard. Cassidy mentioned it the other day. Just said they're like, oh, he's progressing, but it was LTIR, so
yeah, he's gonna be.
I think that was just so they could call guys up.
And plus, he's not making that much money either. I think
exactly. So, and then he'll be fine. I'm sure.
Yeah, Whitecloud's gonna be back soon, but he was great up until he got injured.
Yeah, Whitecloud's been having a good year.
What was that thing that we saw? It was the funniest thing. Like at the first game, Whitecloud was out. We got like our fucking asses handed to us.
Yeah.
It was No, it was the Utah game, and the first comment was like, "Whitecloud, I have gravely mistaken my
forgive me,
my
I was
opinion."
not familiar with your game.
Like he's such a steady, like much like McNabb, just steady.
Yeah.
Will be back there, be playing, making the right. He's really grown as his ability and his mental ability.
At the start of the season, he was a little shaky.
Yeah,
I was noticing some like lazy plays, maybe like lazy clearances, or getting second to the puck where he could have been the first there. But I mean, prior to his injury, I think he was starting
really good.
to turn.
Yeah, I was at practice on
He had a
Friday.
stretch where he was one of the better defensemen. Like, he was just walking shit down, making smart. Oh, and that's the thing, you know, when you're a bottom pair guy, I feel like you kind of take a lot of blame for stuff just because of the assignments that you get.
Yeah.
But at the same time, but then at the same time, it's like the good shit that you do, people don't notice it.
Yeah, they overlook it.
Yeah, he's not Shea Theodore. He's not going to dance through the middle of the ice and fucking shoot a pistol.
I also feel like we're saying this all through a lens of our expectations of defensive games, knowing that a VGK defense should be the best defense in the league. When you look around the league and look at some of these other games, you're like, holy shit, there's defenses that are, like Edmonton, laughably bad.
They're unironically playing choice catcher every game.
Dallas' defense did not look good against us.
We'll just take the bottom half of the NHL.
There's so many defenses that are just bad, but they're on contending teams.
Yeah.
Like, the Rangers' defense has been fucking awful. Jacob Trouba got traded. He wasn't bad, but he got traded to shake up that defense.
Anaheim came up on that.
Yeah, Anaheim I would say Anaheim got a good deal. Everybody's like, oh, they didn't have to pay for him. Like, Anaheim needs to hit the cap floor. Everybody calm the fuck down.
Yeah, and they need fucking veterans.
They need a buy. They don't need fucking Uhor Vakanainen.
They lost all their veterans.
25 and never took off.
Getzlaf they lost. What's his name? Adam Henrique's speaking guy who's done shit. Adam Henrique hasn't done anything in Edmonton.
Who could have guessed?
Who could have guessed?
That's
well,
weird.
Four Nations face off. Let's hit it, boys.
Let's hit it.
All right. Four Nations. Who are we hitting first?
Sweden. Let's do Sweden first.
Sweden?
I picked Sweden.
So, let's do Golden Knights first, which relates to that.
Oh yeah, well, who made it?
I got their lineups here.
All right, so I'm sure everyone knows by now, but we'll reiterate. So, Golden Knights have 7 players going.
We are very well represented.
Exactly. So William Karlsson was named to Team Sweden.
Yeah.
Team USA, Jack Eichel, obviously. Noah Hanifin made the team. I was happy to see that.
Annie.
And then Team Canada.
Shea Theodore.
Theo,
Mark Stone,
Petro, Mark Stone.
Aiden Hill. And
that's it.
Just those
That's
4. So yeah.
Yeah.
The only team with more players is Florida.
And they have a lot of Finns, though.
I was going to say that's because they have like half of the Finnish.
Yeah,
like
they have
players.
They have
Barkey.
They have got Luosterainen,
Gustav
Forsling, and then.
So we have Barkov.
No, Forsling's Swedish.
On Finland, Barkov. For the Panthers, Luosterainen. For the Panthers. Mikkola.
Mikkola. And then Anton Lundell is the other one, I think.
And then, you said Lundell?
Lundell. L-U-N-D.
Oh, Lundell, yeah.
Yeah, so they've got 4 Finnish. That's why, like you said, 4 Finnish players.
Lundell,
and then they got Matty Tkachuk and Forsling.
Yes.
So should we just?
So if we run down Finland, I feel like Finland's not. They're not a pushover team.
None of these teams are pushovers. I just think Finland's probably the weakest.
Oh yeah, I would agree.
If you look at like their.
Well, there's only like 25 Finnish skaters like in the leagues.
Yeah, like the only reason
they got Eric Halla.
Yeah, Eric Halla's been. He's all right.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think they have the lineup like as predicted as like a.
I have it right here. Okay, Sebastian Aho.
There we
Joel
go.
Armia, Barkov, Granlund, Eric Halla, Rupe Hintz, Capo Kakko, Patrick Laine, Arturi Lankinen, Anto Lindell.
See, this isn't a bad team. This is a
great
team.
This forward group is very fast.
And Teuvo Teravainen.
They're all big, fast, and talented.
Exactly. And honestly, like with the Finns, I feel like, are they ever going to be the favorites? No, but like, I don't know, man. They just have this way of showing up in international competitions, and like, I think they really embrace.
That's like a sleeper team.
They embrace that
in a larger tournament.
Yeah, this is like Belgium and
or like a black horse team in the World Cup.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Belgium and like Austria. Those are the black horse
they're sneaky. You're like, they're not going to win. You look at your roster, like, holy shit!
It's like, why are they in the semis?
Yeah,
and then even the goalies, like Kevin Lankinen, he's been amazing.
And then you got UC
Saros, who.
He's actually having a good year despite the team in front of him.
Exactly. Like, his numbers aren't stellar, but he's having a good year because
for that
reason.
Because he's Finnish?
Lekanen or Ukko-Pekka. That's probably the only. It's literally. I don't think there's another. I don't think there's another Finn goalie.
I mean that
can name.
That must be just because he's Finnish. Because the Sabres, aren't doing very well.
They're not, but UPL, he's not bad.
He's not bad.
But the Sabres goaltending has been their issue for the last 3 or 4 years, right?
I think the Sabres as a whole has been an issue.
but Buffalo,
they are nothing.
I think
but
it was
issues.
last year or the year before. They were third in the league for goals scored, and still didn't make playoffs.
Their defense was dog shit.
Yeah.
So defense.
Let me put it this way: Linus Ullmark was on the Buffalo Sabres at one point.
Then he goes to Boston.
Yeah.
Then he goes to Boston and he wins the best.
So it turns out that the team in front of them was the problem.
I was gonna say, I feel like if you took Ukko-Pekka Lehkonen and you put him like on the Golden Knights, he would probably have like a 940 save.
Yeah, because our defensive core is fucking capable.
So like those forwards are really fucking good.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there might have been any snubs for this team, and I honestly can't think of any off the top of my head.
I was gonna say Mikael Granlund, but he's on the team.
Yeah,
Granlund's on the team.
Yeah.
Lyonnais looked good since he's been back.
Turbo's been good.
Rantanen's obviously Rantanen.
Yeah, all those guys have been good. Like, I mean,
the only one that's kind of shows how thin they are
is Erik
no, because he's an NHL. No, they took Yanni Hakanpää, who
has no knees.
And he's already back on injured reserve after playing for like 4 games.
Who's their defense? It's Hakanpää, Lindell, Ristolainen, Heiskanen, Mata,
Ristolainen, and
Valimaki. Yeah, so there's no way Hakanpää is going to play. Mm-hmm. So they're going to play.
I think their defense is just going to get run over.
Yeah, they're going to play Lindell and Heiskanen together probably, but then after that, it's
that wouldn't be a bad NHL defense, but for best on best,
that's not good.
Yeah, they're going to get run over.
Like what you said, this team's a dark horse team that they can score off of forwards alone, and their forwards are all defensively sound. Barkov, Lundell, Lusterainen, Lehkonen, Rantanen, all these guys have got good defensive metrics too.
And let's be real, the real reason I'm not excited about Finland is it's the only team we don't have players on.
Exactly.
So.
That's also true.
All right, Tyler, hit us with Team Sweden.
All right, Team Sweden forwards. We got 13. Victor Arvidsson.
Yikes.
Jesper Bratt.
Okay.
Leo Carlson.
I'm glad he made the team. He deserved it.
Joel Eriksson Ek. Forsberg.
Naturally.
Wild Bill himself.
Naturally. But real quick before you continue, I saw a lot of projections from like podcasters and media guys and athletic writers. A lot of them didn't have Carlson on the list, or they did like, oh yeah, I have him as an extra forward. I'm like, what do you mean an extra forward?
Dude, no.
That's like your second or third line center right there.
I think Carlson falls into that category of the best, not best on paper player.
Yeah.
Like he has the intangibles, right?
Yep.
He's the best, what we call box-to-box midfielder in soccer. His two-way play is fucking unreal.
He's one of the best two-way forwards in the fucking NHL.
Everybody better around him.
Yep. And he's going to be playing with, like, my hot take, because we don't think we finished, so what do we say?
All right, so I stopped at Carlson, sorry. Adrian Kempe, Elias Lindholm, Nylander, Gustav Nyquist, Elias Pettersson, Lucas Raymond, and Mika Zibanejad.
So I was playing around with like lineups. If you put Willem Karlsson in between Lucas Raymond and Leo Carlson, you don't think those two kids are going to fucking pop the fuck off?
Oh, they will.
They'll just be banging them in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because Wild Bill will just be like, hey, boys, go do your thing. I'll hold down the fort with the defenseman back here.
He's forechecking behind the net in the O-zone, and he just backhands through the legs to one of these guys just waiting for a one-timer.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, it's going to happen.
Well, like, I don't think Victor Arvidsson deserved to be on this team.
I don't think so either.
It should have been William Eklund. By and far.
That's like, our first.
I would have William Eklund in over Arvidsson, over Nyquist, over Lindholm. All those
Lindholm's
guys.
been ass.
Yeah, Lindholm's going to be a fourth line center on this team in the tournament.
Do you guys think that a lot of these players are being drafted on just the strength of their name, like Forsberg? Hasn't done shit.
He's the best player on the Predators by far.
I think it's.
But also,
I think you're right.
Finland, though.
I think
you don't have
the way I would.
Like, what other Swedish player is doing well that you could put in his place?
Yeah.
I don't know.
The way I would frame it is, I think they're not just looking at the. Tyler, come say hi.
Yeah. We got
Hey, how's everybody doing today?
Good. How are you, bud?
Not too bad. Dude, these things are nifty.
Yeah, fucking Avalanche jersey.
Yes, I am because they're playing today.
That's super dumb.
What are you wearing? That's what
matter.
I thought.
It's
They're not even playing today.
We won. They don't need
Shut
to be
up.
playing. Yeah. Oh, what kind of?
Because we're first in our division, while the Avs are swimming in mediocrity.
Yeah. Always. Again.
We're talking about Four Nations. We're on Sweden.
Yeah, we're doing the Four Nations podcast right now.
That was special guest Kyler. Listeners of the pod will remember him well.
Yeah. He's wearing a Landeskog Avalanche jersey.
The man that hasn't played in 2 years.
Just so you know, the only reason it's acceptable because he hasn't played in like fucking 5 years.
If you want to talk a little bit, I got a fourth one.
Actually, how long has it been since Landeskog's played hockey?
2 years.
It's been a minute.
It's been
injury and all that
Like,
jazz.
when did they win the cup?
That's the last time he played
Okay.
hockey. Yeah. He hasn't played since then. But we're talking about Sweden.
We are talking about Sweden. Do we want to run through the defense?
Yes, defense is actually, their defense is actually pretty fucking good.
We skipped defense for Finland.
We mentioned
we
it.
did kind of talk about it. All right, defense. We have Rasmus Andersson, Jonas Brodin, Rasmus Dahlin, Matthias Ekholm.
Farewell, Kyler. Farewell.
Later, bud. Victor Hedman and Erik Karlsson.
That's a really good defense. So my hot take with Team Sweden is I know we're all focused on Canada, USA.
This is probably the same. This team is really fucking good.
Sweden
This
can win
team
tournament.
could win.
Yeah, if you can't score goals, you might just win the fucking tournament.
But look at their center depth. It's Pettersson, Eriksson Ek, Karlsson, and Lindholm.
Yeah,
those are four extremely defensively sound centers.
Yeah.
And then all four of those guys can score and can set everybody up. And then you got Willie Nylander and Forsberg.
You got
Zibanejad,
Karlsson making everyone better.
Lucas Raymond.
Jesper Bratt's like number 2 or 3 in scoring in the league right now.
Wild.
And I feel like Joel Eriksson Ek, he really reminds me of Karlsson in the sense that I think he's massively underrated.
Yes. I think he did just get injured or went on IR.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Well, this isn't until February.
That's February. I think he did just get injured.
He should be back. But, yeah.
Sneaky
And then
Swedes
even the
trying to
goal.
play the IR game, dude. Get out of here.
And then even the goalies, Gustafsson, Markstrom, Olmark.
Gustafsson's
having a great year.
Another reason why Minnesota's been so good. Gustafsson's having a great year.
He's
Markstrom's having a great year. I don't think Karlsson plays a fucking game for Team Sweden. He might play one just because he was picked first out of like the NHL. You got to do it, but he doesn't deserve to be in the top 6 at all.
Yeah, and then Forsling, so underrated. Victor Hedman's still a beast.
Dahlin,
Rasmus Andersson. He's
part of elite.
I don't know if you guys talked about it when I was getting a beer, but part of the reason why Calgary's hanging in there,
Rasmus Andersson.
they got that fucking beast of a defenseman, Rasmus Andersson.
Solid defensive defenseman.
And tell me it's not Nazem Kadri that's keeping them in?
I don't know. He's averaging 2.0 points in fantasy. Could be worse.
You got him, huh?
Well, I dropped him so I could activate Stone, but I had him for about half a week.
Yeah, the scoring on the team's awful, but I think, if Karlsson wasn't announced early as like a part of the team,
dog shit this year.
I think it should have been Philip Broberg. Philip Broberg has been
I would
elite.
take him. Yeah,
elite.
Well, speaking of guys on my fantasy team, I got him on my.
Yeah,
he's been great.
Philip Broberg's elite. The whole fucking shit with fucking Stan Bowman was like, well, with these, like, we don't pay him, it's an overpay. I'm like, yeah, Stan, that's the point of a fucking offer contract, you idiot. And guess what? Those guys are fucking killing it in St. Louis, and he's got fucking Ty Emberson playing second defensive pairing. Like, come on.
Yep.
Would you rather have Ty Emberson, Brett Kulak, fucking dog shit, and Troy Stetcher and Josh Brown, or would you have Philip Broberg?
So do we have any notable Finnish snubs for this team?
Swedish, you mean?
Is it?
Sweden.
We're talking about Sweden.
Yeah. So I said William Eklund and Philip Broberg are my two.
Yeah, same. I can't think of anyone
we're not
else.
talking about Sweden.
We're talking about Sweden. We talked
about
about
Finland. Now we're talking about Sweden.
God damn it! I need another beer.
Tyler, you need another beer.
You old drunk? You old drunk, bud?
I'm not drunk enough. Do we have any?
It's okay. Jenna's going to take him home.
You're right. I got it right. All right. Do we have any snubs?
Yeah, I'd say Eklund and Eklund's the number one.
Yeah, we didn't have any for Finland, Sweden. I think
Eklund's the big one.
Broberg.
I think Eklund's one of the biggest snubs of the entire tournament. Just
what's
based
really
on the
funny,
year he's having.
It's like
who would you have replaced?
Arvidsson.
Yeah, I would say
100%.
I would say
Not
He's
even
been
thinking about
injured.
it.
He hasn't played a game in like a month.
He's been injured and also not good.
Not good. And then you could even say you could put him in over Nyquist. Nyquist hasn't been good either. You could put him in over over Elias Lindholm. And Elias Lindholm's been bad.
Yeah.
William Eklund deserved it more than 3 other players on this team. He's got like a point per game right now for the Sharks, and he's playing great.
Agreed, but Tyler,
Yes.
Team Canada, hit us.
These fucking guys.
These
All right,
jackasses.
so we got 13 forwards for Canada. We have Sam Bennett,
served.
Anthony Cirelli, Sidney Crosby,
Naturally, the leader.
Brandon Hagel.
I like how Sidney Crosby's like just unilaterally seen as like the leader of hockey. Like,
leader of
every guy just immediately defers to him.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't mean that like in a mocking way. Like it's fucking awesome.
It's awesome.
I love it. Like he's like the self-appointed chieftain leader. Like,
I mean, after a stare down like that,
Oh yeah, that was hilarious.
if Team Canada wins, it's because he's going to be doing that shit in the locker room.
I'd put the C on his jacket.
Oh yeah, he deserves it. So we were
Seth Jarvis, Travis Konechny, Nathan McKinnon, Brad Marchand, Mitch Marner, Connor McDavid, Braden Point, Sam Reinhart, and Mark Stone.
Captain, my captain.
Yep, deserved.
The only name that really matters on this list, Mark Stone.
Yeah.
I think now I know I'm not Brandon Hagel. Yes, deserves to be there. I don't think Anthony Cirelli does.
No, I think he does.
You think so?
You know why? Because he's having a really good year. Do you know how I know that? He's on my fantasy team.
Okay, there you go.
He's been keeping me in there.
So
but
you
no,
know
I
him
do think.
intimately.
I do think.
I would say
like,
Marchand's probably the bottom. of that.
Marchand to me is the forward that doesn't belong.
Yeah, but
He's
I
just,
agree.
he's just finally aging out.
Remember some
like,
of the picks we had at the beginning of the year though that just didn't pan, like Marshall.
Yeah.
He was on this team.
Yeah.
Up until this year, Stammer was on this team up until what he's had.
That's the big. I wouldn't
Bedard too.
Yeah, I was going to say, why don't you put Bedard on this squad?
He's too small. He's really
And
hasn't been
he
scoring.
just hasn't been good.
Has not been.
Not
good. I mean,
good
I know
enough.
he's on Chicago, and Chicago's dog shit, but
He's not scoring.
He's
But
not
it's just
scoring.
more. So, in my opinion, this is more of like an exhibition tournament, right?
It kind
It's
of is.
It's like
but
an all-star game.
It is,
Right.
but this is the first time you've ever said you're playing for your
This-
country, and these guys take that shit serious.
No, I
say,
get that.
To
I
me,
get
I'm
that.
like, this is the first international best on best we've had since before I've been a fan.
So the last time we had
And-
was like
like when McDavid and Matthews were like rookies. Like,
yeah, it was like 2016
and that was that fucked
or
up
something
World
like that.
Cup of hockey. We're like, oh well, it's not like USA versus Canada. Like it's Team North America
Versus
under
Europe,
25. Versus,
Yeah.
you know, it was.
There's guys that have never worn a Team Canada sweater. Mark Stone, for example, that probably won't ever wear it again.
He even said that in an interview that
That
oh,
is
how do you feel about
fucking
making
amazing
Team Canada? He's like, well, I'm 32 and this is my first chance. Like, you know,
That's wild to me.
Aiden Hill,
Even for
Sam
the
Montembeault,
because
we're
the
having back to
Olympics
bullshit.
are every 4 years.
Yeah, but they
Yeah.
haven't.
They haven't played in the
NHL's haven't been
Olympics.
in the Olympics in fucking like 8 years, 12 years. The
Yeah.
last one was Sidney Crosby. The golden goal was the last, I think, Olympic NHL.
yeah. So it's. I think you're right. This, in a sense, this is an exhibitionist tournament.
Exhibitionist.
Exhibitionist.
Hey,
Sorry.
hey.
Sorry. I
That's
got
for later, Jacob.
Sorry, his real life
That's for your dreams.
Sorry, I'd be strutting around my backyard, you know.
creeping into our fucking podcast.
But no, this is an exhibition tournament. But also, this is really the first, you know, to keep it dirty, the first real big dick swing of international hockey that we've
in
had
a long time. And like
Okay.
best,
So like
first best
they're
on best.
taking it. I think they're taking it seriously.
Because like the World Juniors, yeah, it's best on best, but they're 16 and 17 year olds.
Yeah.
Like,
But
of course, Canada's going to have a great. Then you'll have the random thing will happen. But look what happened when the Czechs won the World Cup of Hockey with Pasternak on the team 2 years ago. Holy shit, that place was fucking going bananas.
That was literally this summer, Alex.
Oh,
It
this
wasn't-
summer? Okay,
2
whatever.
years ago.
Whatever. But yeah, like international hockey is a big fucking deal to a lot of these guys. Like,
Yeah, and then, but on the other hand, I think you're right. Like, to me, this is kind of the dress rehearsal for the Olympics.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's got to be in the Olympics.
Some of these names that are like, well, do they really belong? I think it's because all these managers
They're
are like,
testing
well,
them out.
Exactly. We're going to see what's going to be our identity for the Olympics.
Is
you know?
the Four Nations Cup sponsored by the NHL?
Yeah.
Excuse me. It's an
wouldn't it
NHL
be-
event.
Don't you think it would be in the best business interest to put or to encourage drafting some of the younger stars.
That's why I thought Bedard was going to make it.
Yeah,
because I thought I thought the league would be like, hey team, hey.
Because he's on all the
Hockey
fucking
Canada,
commercials.
Exactly. Like you
Might
need
as well throw him in.
I thought he was going to be included as a PR move, but Hockey Canada is like such a large organization. They were probably like, "Oh, fuck you, NHL. We don't have to do what you say."
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I mean, that was my only explanation.
Yeah.
But I did think he was going to be for that. I thought he would be there as a PR move. Like,
at least
come
scratch
see Connor Bedard.
Or like, I would assume him or Celebrini in over Marchand.
Marchand,
dude, there's like some scratches on this Team Canada in the forwards. Let's get through. You wanted to talk about scratches for forwards?
Yeah,
Bedard. I would say Bedard.
For sure.
Definitely Robert Thomas. Like,
that's the big one for
Robert
me.
Thomas. He was injured for a couple weeks, or like he's on my fantasy team, but he's been fucking electric. Like he's been so good. I just don't understand how you leave that guy off but put Brad Marchand on.
Well, let's be real.
You kind of need a rat. You got to go rat for rat, right?
No, I was gonna say, let's be real. The only reason Marchand's on the team is because he was part of that first 6 thing they did before the season.
Oh yeah, Legacy. Oh yeah, that's
and
right.
Everyone thought he was still going to be good,
those.
and then the season happened, and I was like, oh, turns out he's not good anymore.
Yeah,
So,
I forgot about that. I forgot. I remember the Carlson thing because that was like a big talking point.
To me, he's the only one here that I think
doesn't
shouldn't
deserve
be.
it. You can make a case. Obviously, Hagel deserves to be there. Hagel's been great.
I'll say I will defend Hagel and Sorelli being there.
And then plus you get the John Cooper bump for those two guys.
And I'll defend.
Do we want to move on to
there.
defensemen?
Let's move on to
hit us with
defensemen.
it.
All right, Cale Makar,
Naturally.
Josh Morrissey,
Yep.
Colton Parayko,
Surprise.
Alex Pietrangelo,
Not a surprise.
big old Petro, Travis Sanheim,
Kind of a surprise.
man, the myth, Shea Theodore, and Devon Taves.
I would say that Parayko and Sanheim.
That's a weird one for me.
But I think what they're going for is defense over offense. Because Theo's going to run your shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think,
And plus he's defensively sound.
Do you think they're going to put Shea and Pietrangelo on a pairing?
Oh, yeah.
That's
how
right.
Makar and Taves are going to be on a pair. It's Makar, Taves,
just
Shea.
sheer familiarity.
Yeah, it's
in
Makar,
the short
Taves,
tournament.
Shea, Theo. Shea.
Granted, that pairing wasn't that great for us.
Morrissey,
Like,
Sanheim, and Parayko as like the extra.
Yeah,
who's that?
Who's the other extra? Sanheim, Parayko, and Morrissey too. You have so many options. Like that's the thing. Everybody's like, well, what about Evan Bouchard? One, Evan Bouchard hasn't been producing this year.
He's been awful.
He's been awful. 3,
even when he's good, he can't defend.
You have 3 better offensive defensemen that can defend on this team in Makar, Morrissey, and Theodore.
Yeah.
So you just pair those 3 guys with the other half of the lineup that are defensive defensemen. Even Pietrangelo's got more offense than you would care.
Yeah, he's been known to bang a few in.
But you don't need Evan Bouchard on this team. Everybody's like, oh, really, Colton Parayko instead of Evan Bouchard? I'm like, Colton Parayko can play defense.
So
Sanheim can play defense.
Yeah,
here's a quote
that's
that
what
I've
he's
been
supposed to do, right?
Yeah.
Every podcast and post and video I've seen about like 4 Nation snubs. Quote that's really been sticking with me when people are talking about, well, who got snubbed and why is this guy here? He doesn't deserve to be here. It was from 32 Thoughts, and Elliot Friedman was talking about it, where he basically said, him and all the Sportsnet guys made their rosters, and a few coaches basically reached out and talked to him. They're like, dude, this isn't an all-star game. You're not building an all-star roster. You're building a best-on-best roster. You need
these are players that need to win this game.
Exactly.
Not
You
just show up in a
you need defensive guys, and honestly, it's easy to say, oh, Colton Parayko's part of St. Louis, and St. Louis has been dog shit. Colton Parayko's a really good defensive defenseman, and he can move the puck. He's not great at it, but he can move it decently.
Yep.
And he can shut guys down. I totally get it. I'm like, you don't need fucking Evan Bouchard on that team.
No.
If your team has fucking Cale Makar and Nathan McKinnon and Connor McDavid, you don't need more scoring. You need guys that can stop the puck.
Yeah.
Especially, obviously, I love Adin Hill, but especially when your goalies aren't
not nearly America,
not Team USA
or even
goalies.
Sweden, like Gustafsson and Markstrom.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get to the goalies. This group is I love Adin Hill. This group is the weakest group made outside of Finland of the 3 others. This is the weakest group of goaltenders.
Yeah, you got Jordan Binnington, Adin Hill, and Sam Montembeault.
I cannot fucking believe that Sam Montembeault
Instead
on
of
this
Logan
team.
Thompson.
Yeah, that's insane.
Logan
no
Thompson,
fucking idea
this
why.
out of we talked about scratches like with with Marshawn being in, and then some
this
of the
is the only snub that I'm actually angry about.
They can't have two goaltenders attached to the Golden Knights in any way on the same team.
Yeah,
I know, right? Well, that would
like
just that would ignite Canada into flames.
LT not making the team.
You have to have someone from Montreal on the team.
Oh, of course. Why not?
LT's had an amazing. There's no Montreal Canadiens on that Team Canada.
Just Montembeau.
Yeah, there's only one Maple Leaf on there too, and Mitch Marner.
Mitch Marner. Yeah.
There's only one. Let's
see how many Canadian teams
there's only
are being
there's also
Edmonton?
only one Edmonton player on that.
Yeah,
Canadian.
Connor McDavid.
Everybody else is American.
Mitch Marner.
Yep. Oh, Josh Morrissey, duh.
Morrissey for Winnipeg, yeah. And then
much like most of the rest of the NHL world, I forget about Winnipeg. Yeah. But no, it's an absolute fucking. There's no shape or form that one Montembeau should even be on the team. It had plenty of other goaltenders. Two, that LT didn't make it.
That's wild to me.
LT's got a
He's
great
a fucking
season.
all-star last year.
He's only lost like one game.
Yeah.
I think 1 or 2 games. He's got great numbers.
What?
Shit,
he showed us what.
Even Stuart Skinner should make it on this team over Montembeau. Stu Skinner's had a great few games.
I mean, but it's also Skinner.
He's had a better season than Montembeau. Montembeau had that one good game at the beginning of the year and has been pretty bad since then.
So do you think this pick is
entirely driven by Montreal?
It's a sympathy pick for the
Montreal. Exactly. I think we need someone from Montreal.
Well, because there's nobody else.
Nick Suzuki said no. We need someone.
There's nobody else. No other Montreal player on the rest of these teams.
Yeah.
Because Cole Caulfield didn't make Team USA. There's no Swedish players.
Which is a snub.
Finland.
About, right?
Patrick Laine.
Laine's
but that's the only other guy. But yeah, they're probably like we got to put Montreal and Canada.
We have some other Canadian representation on Team USA.
Yeah, but they're Americans. So
they're Americans. But they play for Canadian teams.
That just goes to show that you need American players to have a good team.
So
which is funny. There's actually more American players that play for Canadian teams.
Yeah, more American teams
that are represented on Team USA.
Exactly. Because it turns out they draft all the American players.
So
do you want to move to USA? Or
before we move on from Canada, I'll just say to give our boys the proper due. Alex Petrangelo's having a great season. He 100% deserved it.
Theodore's having a better season.
Absolute pillar in the defense.
Again, I can't believe that there were projections that had either or both of them left off.
It doesn't make any sense. Aiden Hill's really heated
up. And then Mark Stone, man.
Mark Stone has
stupid stats.
Up until his injury, he was still somehow even through his injuries, he's still like a top 20 scorer in the league.
He was second in our team in scoring after missing literally half the season played so far.
Yeah.
It was insane.
I mean, it's Mark Stone. Like, what do we expect? The guy's a fucking monster.
Yeah. He's a horse. I mean,
I was just checking. I saw it was 2 lights and then it went to 3 lights.
Oh, it's just the volume, the way it picks it up.
Okay.
Sometimes goofy.
I want to make sure everyone's getting picked up.
Yeah.
So, and also real quick, I'll say I cannot fucking stand the way Canadian media is downplaying their team. To me, it's this.
I mean, but are you surprised?
I'm not, because insecurity seems to be part of their national identity. But I hate how they're acting like they're like, oh well, we're a poor Team Canada over here. We have no chance, and I feel like they're already planting seeds to try to make it sound like they're underdogs. I'm like, bro, you got fucking Connor McDavid and Nathan McKinnon and Kelvin Carter on your team. Like, shut the fuck up.
They're gonna be okay.
How are you gonna try to frame yourself as an underdog when you're playing against Finland?
Exactly.
But I can say that there's some attitudes and personalities on this Team Canada that could fall apart in a game against a team like Finland, because Finland's got guys that are just gonna fucking beat you. Not so much beat you on offense. They will. Alexander Barkov will own. Own a center.
Finland knows.
Yeah.
The Finnish roster knows going in that they're the underdogs, and they're going to play their fucking hearts out.
Yeah.
Canada are going into it as the golden team, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And there might be a level of complacency.
I think
that
Sidney Crosby is going to help with that.
I think they're going to get. Yeah. I think it might get surprised.
Yeah. Sidney Crosby is going to be the leader that team needs.
For sure.
But he's going to have to fucking cool down fucking Nathan.
But when you're on a team of when you're a leader on a team of leaders.
Yeah, that's true.
Like
like I said,
there needs to be a level of respect. Right?
Yeah.
But is Connor McDavid going to be like, oh yeah, all right, Sydney, I'll listen to you?
Yeah.
Or because it's fucking McDavid, dude.
Yeah.
Or like Marchand or Marner or any of these like high level players, they're gonna be like, yeah, well, I'm gonna listen to you.
Yeah.
Like, especially all the Panther representatives. Like, yeah, we just won the cup last year, bro. Like
Crosby's at that perfect point in his career where he's still playing elite, but he's been around for so long that all these other guys in the team, they're just going to defer to him. You know, like, all right, well, you're the undisputed, unanimous choice for high chieftain of Hockey Canada. You know, like
true.
Like
I guess there's two ways to see it. I suppose
the only. Crosby's the only player in the world that fucking McKinnon and McDavid will fucking defer to.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And if Crosby speaks in that room, they're going to fucking listen. Even if it's
I'll
just
have to take your word for it.
I'm just waiting for when they're, in Game 3, when they're 0-3 in the round robin, and Mitch Marner's sitting there crying on the bench. And
he's not even on the bench. He's in the bathroom, dude.
Sidney Crosby's like, stop.
He's got the diarrhea shitties.
Stop fucking crying.
Just banging on it, the door.
Yeah.
Get out crying in there, you fucking pussy.
All right, so let's hit the main event here, boys.
Main event.
Team USA.
Team USA, 13 forwards. We got Matt Boldy.
Yeah, excellent.
Kyle Connor.
Excellent.
Jackie Aces.
Yep.
Jake Gensel.
Great.
Jack Hughes.
Yeah.
Chris Kreider.
I'm okay with it.
I'm okay with
Dylan
him.
Larkin.
I'll make a case for the guys that made it when we get to the end.
Okay, Austin Matthews. JT Miller, which you're welcome, by the way.
Thank you.
Brock Nelson. Brady Tkachuk. Matthew Tkachuk. And Vincent Trocheck. So, if I can take the liberty, my biggest snub move would be Jason Robertson.
I can see
off
that.
This list for.
Well, I mean,
take your pick, right?
I think this is the first. I don't know. Did we? Was there a big Canada snub?
LT. And then on forwards, we're like, ugh.
Yeah, people are saying Nick Suzuki. I'm like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah,
like,
there's not guys that you could really make much of a. I feel like the only reason that Marchand's on the team is because he was pre-announced. I'm sure there'd be another guy in his spot if he wasn't.
And then people are like, Bouchard's a snub. No,
he's not. He's not.
But USA, I think this is.
Mine would be Jason Robertson.
Jason Robertson, Tage Thompson's had a good year.
Big snub.
My big one was Clayton Keller. I cannot believe Clayton Keller did not make this team.
I can't believe Clayton Keller didn't make this team over Vincent Trocheck.
I'll defend Trocheck being on there, but not over
Clayton Keller.
Like, someone had a drop. If they said, we'll keep Trocheck and
any other
drop
guy,
someone else, I'd be like, okay, I can see that. But, and that's my whole thing with a lot of these rosters. Be like, this guy doesn't deserve to be here. I'm like, well, it's something he doesn't deserve to be there.
It's what the coaching thought this tournament's going to be.
There's plenty
of I cannot, even so, like, of that, because let's face it, the bottom three guys are Trocheck, Nelson, and Kreider.
Yeah.
I can understand having two of those guys on there, but Clayton Keller's got to take one of those spots.
Clayton Keller for sure.
Clayton Keller's got to take one of those spots.
Clayton Keller, Tage Thompson, just with the size. A lot of people were saying they're surprised by Caulfield. I'm like, not really.
I was gonna say, I think we're all.
Tage is a big, like that's a big. Like,
fuck
you.
Yeah, Tage Thompson.
He's big and he has hands. I think
Caulfield, I'm not surprised because the man just shoots and doesn't do anything else.
I was gonna say, I think we're all in agreement here. I'm like, people are like, Cole, how can you not have Cole Caulfield on this team? I'm like, easy. He's fucking 5'8". He can't play defense. He gets fucking half his cookies on the fucking power play. Because he's on a bad team and there's no one else to shoot the puck.
Even Tuck. Was Tuck
a
snub?
I could have seen Tuck making this team.
There's big bodies.
Because he's big, he's fast, he has hands.
There's a
these
bunch
are
of forwards
guys
that
get down and dirty in those zones.
That's what you want to be as Team USA. You got to pick the right guys. But then again, like Jacob said, I'm going to defend the team. People are having a fucking heart attack that Chris Kreider's got like a bunch of goals and no assists. But Chris Kreider's a fucking moose. You need a body like that.
Yeah, people are like, why is Chris Kreider on this team? I'm like, oh, well, let's think. He's fast as shit.
He scores,
and
he hits.
He's a fucking animal in front of the net.
Yeah,
that's how you score.
Yeah,
and especially fucking.
That's how you score in these tournaments. You're not fucking sniping it from the blue.
Yeah, exactly.
This isn't. It's not an all-star game.
No,
exactly.
These guys are playing.
These are playing.
Yeah, Yeah.
Which I'm fucking upset about.
And he's an emotional leader.
Yeah, if any of our boys get hurt during this fucking tournament, dude, I'm gonna be so fucking mad.
I don't
even want to. So mad.
Don't even want to speak.
Stone just coming back.
Don't even want to. Knock on wood. I don't even want to speak it into a fucking existence.
No. Jesus Christ.
Let's not talk about that. But there's a lot of forwards on here I would have put in over a couple guys on Team USA.
I think, like I said, Keller is my big one.
Keller's a huge one for me.
That's a big
fucking snub. I feel like I need to look up Brock Nelson's stats because I'm like
he's having a decent year.
Look, people are like, how can you put him in? I'm like, well, he's a good player, but then I'm like, but
I think he's at
the Islanders are just such a blank spot in my brain.
I think he's over a point per game, and then he's like his minus isn't the worst on that team.
Well, and that's the thing too. It's
Brock
like
Nelson, 10 goals, 7 assists, 17 points. He's a -2 on the ice.
He's not awful, but again, you wouldn't put in Tage Thompson over that. You wouldn't put in
like I said, the two that I would not put in Thompson or Caulfield.
I wouldn't put Caulfield at all.
Thompson I would consider it. But
I would put Keller in.
I'm just not sold on him. I
put Clayton Keller in 100% of the time.
Like I said, I would put in Keller over Brock Nelson.
Brock Besser.
Yeah.
Speaking of Brock Besser's had a decent year.
7 goals, 16 assists, and 23 points, +1 on the ice.
Clayton Keller.
The fact that he's a plus on a team with no decor is,
and he's not on Team USA. I think that's the biggest snub for Team USA on the forwards. At least I totally agree.
Yeah, and I think I will defend Trocheck being on this team because he's one of those guys where he's just a fucking engine. Like last year when the Rangers had their President's Cup run and the conference final run,
he was a big part of it.
It was mainly because of him.
Yeah, he's got the pedigree.
Yeah, and granted, when you think of him, you're like, okay, that's like a second line center, but if that's your 4C / your 13th forward on an international team, I think you're in fucking good shape.
Yeah, because it's gonna be Matthews, Eichel. Who's the other?
To be honest, Matthews,
Eichel, Miller, and somebody in the Trocheck or something.
Is Matthews?
It's probably gonna be Eichel. I mean, you can interchange either of those.
So Austin Matthews, 8 goals, 10 assists, 18 points.
But he's been injured, right?
Yeah, he's missed a lot of games.
Yeah, but is that a PR move to put him on there, or do you take someone who's
no? Matthews was always going to be on this team. I think he was announced
because he's a commercial player.
Yeah,
he's on.
It's
both. It's both.
I'm wondering.
Here's my hot
strength
take.
of the name.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah.
Here's my hot take. I think he deserves to be there. My hot take is Eichel is going to be the first line center.
Yeah, I think so.
And he's going to wear the C for
I think so. I think
there's
so.
no way you can't give it to him. He's got 30 fucking
He's
assists,
the highest scoring American player.
Stanley Cup champion, fucking plays the right way, plays both ends, fucking.
Yeah.
And he has that kind of quiet psychopath intensity.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that's why when I see some of these names that haven't been popping out like say last season, Austin Matthews, shoe-in for sure.
Oh, yeah.
This season, you're like, it's been kind of quiet.
Yeah.
Right? Obviously, 8 goals in 20.
Well, he missed
a lot of time. I think he only has 10 games. What's the GP for him?
Games played.
He's the only guy that'd be under 15.
Where the fuck we at? 18.
So, all right. So
he's missed about 5 games, 6, maybe no more than that, 10 games.
8 goals in 18 games.
That's not bad.
I guess that's not
where he was at last year, but that's also
But last year was a freak
season.
There's
just too much talent there. You just can't.
Yeah, and then plus they're not asking him to do everything again this year on that team.
Yeah,
but I think
Eichel will be first line C.
Eichel's got 9 goals, 30 assists.
But he's just a setup guy. I don't think they're going to want him to set up Chris Kreider or Jake Gensel.
And he's got 28 games played.
Let's get to the real reason that Team USA is going to win. Hit us with the defensemen and the goalies.
Yeah.
Alrighty. 7 defensemen: Brock Faber, Adam Fox, Noah Hannafin, Quinn Hughes, Charlie McAvoy, Jacob Slavin, and Zach Werenski.
The funny part here is that Noah Hannafin might get scratched in a game or two.
He's probably the scratch.
That's how good this defense is.
I mean,
when you're a motherfucker.
Zach Werenski's been in. I know we don't want to watch a lot of Columbus games.
I know Slavin's been a monster.
Slavin and the Werenski have been.
Jacob Slavin might be
the best defensive defenseman in the league.
Yeah, exactly.
But, so I had Slavin. on fantasy. I had to because defensive defensemen don't
score.
fucking
They don't
get
get points.
So I had to drop his ass.
Yeah.
But
he's so
he's
good.
been an absolute beast.
Zach Werenski's been a horse for Columbus.
Yeah, Quinn Hughes.
Quinn Hughes is
Dude, from the blue line,
he won
he's
the
an
fucking Norris
animal.
Trophy last year.
Yeah, dude. Quinn Hughes he's only been with the Canucks for like what 4 years. He's now the team leader in assists for a defenseman.
That's crazy.
He's been great for me on fantasy.
He's been
That's
crazy.
all I know.
So
and then Brock Faber and Adam Fox just like, oh yeah,
I'd say
you're gonna have 2 All-Stars.
No one's scoring on this fucking. And then once we get to the goaltending, then no one's scoring.
Heli Otter.
Hit us with the goalies.
Yeah, we got a Hellebuck, we got Ottinger, and we got Swayman.
Swayman's not going to have to play a game.
No.
I was gonna say, let's be real.
He's going to get a free jersey and he's going to go home.
Yeah,
exactly. He's gonna take some pictures.
He's going to get a nice helmet. Unless they wear their home helmets, right?
I don't know. They probably will have. They'll probably have custom masks made for them.
I'm sure some guys that are superstitious will be like, oh, I'm going to wear my team helmet. Or maybe the league wouldn't let them.
They probably will. They'll probably have.
Because
it's not like the All-Star game where the goalies wear their home helmets, right?
Yeah,
they'll probably have
be
Team
wearing
USAs.
They're all.
They're all
they'll be
millionaires.
wearing. They'll all be wearing jerseys.
Yeah, they're all millionaires.
Yeah.
They'll all get a custom.
Yeah,
I mean that's gonna be pretty dope.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, part of me. I know you said it. You're like, I kind of want to get an Eichel Team America jersey, and I was thinking about it, but I was like,
so expensive.
I was talking about getting a USA.
I was like, maybe I'll get a T-shirt or something.
Yeah. Like we've joked
Maybe I'll
before.
get a sweater.
The only time I'm ultra patriotic is the Olympics and like national sports.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I know it's coming from complete bias, being all of us being American, but this team is top to bottom. Just
Team USA is the favorite.
Yeah, they got to be.
I think they're the most rounded.
The most well-rounded team.
Like I was gonna bring up this point earlier. Like I know it's easy to focus on who was the snub, who shouldn't be there, but like if you're sitting there thinking like who do we need on our team to fucking shut down.
Who do we need to combat Connor McDavid and Nathan McKinnon?
Exactly.
Sidney Crosby.
Exactly. And you know what it is? It's guys like, obviously, like Jack Eichel. It's going to be guys like... It's going to be guys...
Kreider.
Exactly. Like, those are the types of players that you need.
Yeah.
Like, my favorite...
We're forgetting about a name that I personally, one of my favorite American players outside of Jack Eichel. It's Kyle Connor.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. And that's the thing.
We don't even mention him this entire time.
It's easy to focus on the defensemen and the goalies. Kyle Connor is like a fucking 40, 45 goal scorer every year.
And nobody talks about the man.
Like he's one of the most electric, naturally gifted goal scorers in the fucking world.
And he'll play in his zone too. Oh, another name for Canada. Speaking of Kyle Connor, Mark Scheifele.
Yeah, that was a snub.
Yeah, that's probably my bigger one than most. Yeah. He doesn't play defense, but he's very good.
Yeah.
but the best goaltenders. I mean, Sweden's probably a close second because Gustafsson and Markstrom have been so good. But overall, those goaltenders. Oh, you scored a couple goals on Hellebuck? Let's just put in Jake Ottinger.
Yeah, exactly.
Like two guys that have got good playoff pedigree and
those other teams they don't have. I mean, kind of, maybe Finland and Sweden do, but Canada's not going to be like, oh, no, you scored on Adin Hill. Like, let's put in Sam Montembeault.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, that's also the other point is...
I'm sure if Team America puts out a line of Jack Eichel and Matthew Tkachuk and Kyle Connor, Sam Montembeault, he'll stop that.
Here's my thing why I personally think Adin Hill will be the starter.
Oh, he will. No question.
He's the only, the entire tournament, he's the only goaltender that has won a cup. Of all the goaltenders that are in the tournament.
Jordan Binnington.
Oh, yeah, duh.
Alex.
Two cup winners.
Water.
Binnington did. I forgot about that. But I don't think they won because of Binnington.
No. Well, I mean, during the regular
I always
season,
forget about the St. Louis Cup. But still. But top to bottom, Team USA's goaltending is the best. The defense is...
The best.
I mean, Canada's right there, I would say.
And then
obviously... But it's most defensively sound.
Yeah.
Right.
I say, and obviously Canada, they have McDavid and McKinnon.
They have the star power.
Yeah.
On the top, but are they going to work together? That's
where's their winger
too.
scoring going to come from outside of, like, Mark Stone?
I know Mark Stone is going to make all of them fucking better.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, who else is... that kind of player? McKinnon he takes the game over by himself, right?
Yeah.
But he does assist well.
He's got the most assists in the league.
Yeah.
Crosby, I mean, it's hard to tell because
those top guys are going to be a problem.
Yeah,
for sure.
Sam Bennett. I mean,
nothing here is a shoe-in.
Oh yeah, Sam Reinhart.
Sam Reinhart too.
Did Reinhart make the team?
Yeah.
Oh, he did. Oh, that's right.
Yeah, Reinhart and Bennett.
Yeah, both made the team.
Both. I mean, Bennett's a motherfucker, dude.
But we've also got Kachuk and Kachuk.
Yeah, that's also true.
We've got. I personally think if like
Brady.
we
got both.
Oh yeah,
Brady
and
if it came down to we needed an energy like fucking rat line, you could put the Kachucks with like Chris Kreider.
Yeah.
And just.
Yeah.
And dude, you know who else I forgot to mention as like guys that can shut down McDavid? JT Miller.
JT Miller, yeah.
So who do you put with? So who do you put on the Jack Eichel line?
My big line
Eichel?
is the first line I want to see is Jack Eichel, Matthew Tkachuk, and Kyle Connor.
Yeah, agreed. Yep. And then, oh yeah, you know what? I forgot about Jack Hughes.
Yeah.
Jack Hughes could.
Yeah. So what is he? Second line winger?
No, he's the center technically, but
line center.
I think we're gonna have centers playing wing.
Yeah, I would say it's gonna be Hughes, Matthews, and Gensel.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then third line center would be JT Miller with
Matt Boldy.
Brady
Tkachuk.
Matt Boldy and Brady Tkachuk. I would do Matt Boldy, JT Miller, and let me look at the rest of the names. Dylan
Trocheck.
Even Dylan
Where do you put Trocheck?
Here's what
I think Trocheck's probably going to be the extra forward.
I think here I'll take
right now Brock Nelson will be. Trocheck will be on the fourth.
I'll take this back. I'm gonna say Eichel, like we said, top center. Eichel, Connor, and Matthew Tkachuk. That's settled. And then we can do Matthews, Hughes, and Gensel. And then you need a third line. So I'd say JT Miller, Chris Kreider, and Jake Gensel.
You already said Gensel.
Did I already say Gensel? I did.
Matt Boldy
For sure. And then fourth line, you can have Dylan Larkin, Chris Kreider, and Brock Nelson.
That would be a fast as fuck line.
Yeah.
Dude. A fast as fuck line. Dylan Larkin's like one of the fastest. Dylan Larkin beat Connor McDavid at the All-Star game once in the
There's
race.
a lot of speed and a lot of ability.
Every line is dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then plus it's not all going to be set. They can mix and match in between games. Like,
and then the defense is fucking dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah. Two names that, even if Billy Guerin wasn't the GM, they probably would have made it anyway, but fucking Matt Boldy, which we mentioned, he's been phenomenal. Brock Faber, man. Faber is a fantastic young defenseman.
Yeah. You remember last year he was scoring so much and was snubbed in the Calder race. Mm-hmm. This year, he's like, oh yeah, I don't need to score that much. I'm just going to play great defense. And he's been playing great defense.
Here's what I would do for the first pair. I'd probably do Slavin and Hughes.
Oh, yeah.
And then probably Faber and Fox, and then Werenski and McAvoy.
I put McAvoy with Faber, and then Fox with Werenski.
Yeah. It almost doesn't matter. Like, it's three first pairs,
exactly. We didn't talk about the coaching staff for the formations.
Oh, yeah. So John Cooper for Canada.
Cooper and
this is the only thing I'm hesitant about for America. Mike Sullivan. It's really not another American coach. I don't know my coach. You know who I would have taken? I would have taken fucking John Tortorella.
I think the U.S. can win pretty, not easily because it's best on best. You never know what happens. I think they have the best chance. I think, like we said, Sweden's got a.
On paper, U.S. is.
Fire. Yeah. They're much better than both European teams, and then I would say, outside of the superstars, are better than Canada.
Yeah.
Because Canada's got those, the freaks. Like Canada's got four of the best players in the world, on their team. But how far can those guys go? It's much like an Edmonton situation. Like, they can't all play fucking half an hour a night. Like. It's an actual.
And they're not gonna run them.
Oh yeah, they're gonna. Yeah, if John Cooper if John Cooper runs fucking Connor McDavid for 21 minutes, he's gonna get a call from Stan Bowman. And go, what the fuck have you been doing? I'm gonna.
Luckily, no one cares what Stan Bowman thinks.
Exactly.
There's been a shift. The last few years, and if you spend all your time at work fucking jerking off and listening to hockey podcasts the way I do, you can hear it in their voices when they talk about like how the NCAA is suddenly overtaking juniors in Canada.
In development, because a lot of guys are moving from the CHL.
Hockey USA has suddenly become this like militaristic, pristine organization that churns out fucking Eichels and Matthews and fucking Celebrinis.
Hellebucks and Well, Celebrini wasn't.
Is he Canadian?
He's Canadian.
Okay.
He's from Vancouver. I think he
The
played
Hugheses,
in. He played in the U.S. development system.
Well, he played in the NCAA.
Yeah, and then
That's why I got
he
confused.
was in.
But anyways, the point being, USA Hockey is pretty. It's all but official, and this will be the headline if we win this tournament.
Yeah.
Fucking USA is now the dominant force in hockey, not Canada anymore.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious. Because that's their national pastime, and we were like, you know what? Fuck you.
Well,
It's our fourth most popular sport. We're now better at it than you.
Yeah, we've made the joke. Like we talked about Marc-Andre Fleury. He was the last great. Canadian goaltender.
Yeah. Last great Canadian. I'm surprised. I would have given that third spot to him over fucking
Montembeault.
Sam Montembeault.
Yeah,
why not?
It should have been LT. In the order, it should have been. I would put Hill, Binner, LT, Fleury, and then whale shit, and then Sam Montembeault. Like, if Alex Lyon wasn't injured, is he American too, or is he?
I think he's American.
Okay, never mind.
Maybe
Shit.
I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that.
I would put Stu Skinner in over Sam Montembeault. I would.
Is it just because he's on the Canadians?
Yeah, I think
I
that's
legitimately think that's what it is.
They
because where are they playing these games? They're playing half of them
Montreal.
in Boston, half of them in Montreal.
They need
some represent.
They
need a reason for people to come to the game.
Yeah,
to watch a representative.
You know what's gonna be really fucking hilarious is when they dress him in one of the Montreal games against like Finland or something, just so they have the home crowd can cheer for him.
Yeah,
and then they put fucking
and then Sebastian Aho gets a fucking hat trick in the first period.
Like, okay, time to switch.
Yep, that's literally what's going to happen. Like, we've been going for almost 2.5 hours.
I was going to say, I feel like we could almost like chop this one in half and have 2 episodes.
Probably. Shit.
I'll leave that up to the editor.
Yeah, I'll figure it out later. But no, this has been great. I mean,
this was a lot of fun.
Alex, you're back from your Thanksgiving vacation.
I'm back from my Thanksgiving.
It's December. The Christmas tree is up.
The boys are back. We're on a 3-game streak.
Yeah, so the Knights are back.
They get a nice little break, get to practice, get to relax.
The next stretch is going to be intense.
Yeah, it's what you said, Winnipeg, Minnesota, and Edmonton.
Yeah, I think so.
Winnipeg wasn't a problem before.
And Vancouver's in there too, right?
So
we're going on like Midwest Canada.
Oh yeah, and here's one fact that I did want to squeeze in today, especially considering our upcoming schedule against these tough Western teams. Golden Knights, their record right now against other Western Conference teams, 14-2-2.
Damn.
Monsters.
And we have a pretty good record against in playoff contention teams right now too.
Actually, no, it's been pretty awful.
Has it been? Okay.
It's probably better after this last week.
Okay. But still, against Western Conference,
but for most of the year, it was pretty.
We beat Dallas. We beat
Winnipeg.
We
barely lost to Colorado.
And OT. To me, that shit doesn't count. OT.
Like once it gets to a shootout, I'm like, this is basically a
seventh shot too. Like,
yeah.
This is basically a fucking. A tie.
I think what we need to be better about is beating Eastern Conference playoff contenders because we've lost to Washington twice. We have yet to play the Rangers. You have to play the Devils.
The Kings,
we got
we got turned inside. We basically got turned inside out by all of them.
Yeah.
Fucking Toronto turned us inside out. The Canes did.
Yep.
Capitals did twice.
There's teams that we need to beat, but like being that good against the Western Conference is great because it's going to guarantee you a top spot.
I was going to say, the point being...
We're playoff bound.
Yeah. I know Minnesota is ahead of us, but I think we're well on our way to being fucking lords of the West once more.
Yeah. I'm not afraid of Minnesota. I feel like Minnesota is doing kind of what we're doing. We're capitalizing on teams that are not as
I'm more afraid of them than Winnipeg.
Yes.
But I'm not super afraid of them.
Yeah. Because Kaprizov is the guy, dude. You put Karlsson on Kaprizov, dude, you're done.
Yeah.
I ultimately
but you could also make the argument that if you put Eriksson Ek on Jack Eichel, that kind of cancels it out. But then we have more depth scoring overall.
We got Stone. We got. I mean,
I'm not saying it would be. I'm not saying it would be easy.
No, it'd be difficult.
I'm just saying I agree with Tyler. I would give us the edge.
Yeah.
I think we have a little bit more depth.
We have better defense.
And we're a different team with Stone on the ice.
Yeah.
God willing, we don't face them in the first round.
Oh God.
let them go through.
God willing, they're the 1 seed and we're the 2 seed, or the way around.
Yeah, hopefully they go through. Hopefully they have to go through like Colorado and fucking
Winnipeg
Winnipeg before they get to us.
One thing I do respect about this season so far is we didn't pull a Winnipeg and just win, and then expect to keep winning. Yep. We won a little bit, we lost a little.
Yeah.
These guys, they're not in la la land.
Yeah.
Right? They've been humbled week after week, and I feel like that keeps teams honest.
Yep. I agree. Very much agree. The phrase I would use, and Bruce Cassidy uses this phrase a lot, and he used it a lot during our cup year. We're building our game.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're not just like, all right, we're going to win it all in the first week. Like, no, we're building our game.
Yeah. I would prefer,
one thing at a time.
Take a few losses a week.
Because at first it was like we were riding the power play, right? Goaltending sucks. 5-on-5 defense sucks. Basically everything sucked except the power play, and we rode that for like 3 or 4 weeks. And then, the 5-on-5 started to get better.
Yep.
And then the team defense, the defensemen got better. Then the goaltending got better. Now our penalty kill's getting better. And as we keep building and keep getting that momentum and ironing out those details, hopefully, God willing, knock on wood, by the time we hit the playoffs, we're going to be fucking chugging along.
We're well-rounded. We didn't enjoy a stretch of 12 games fucking won.
Yeah.
We did 2. We won 2, we lost 1. Win 3, lose 2. We took our lumps along the way, and I think that keeps the boys grounded.
Yeah. Agreed. It keeps them in check, keeps the egos down. Yeah. It reinforces, again, that idea, like, you can't. We're not just gonna fucking blow through these guys.
Yeah.
Like, we have to work
fight every game.
We have to keep on top of our details.
Yep.
Have to keep building our game.
Yes.
So I'm feeling good about the team right now.
It's
what's today? December 7th, 8th.
8th.
It is the 8th today.
Yeah.
December 8th.
We don't play again until 12th.
Yeah. I think if we can finish out, every team has that lull in January. Then we'll have the Four Nations break, and then hopefully we can finish strong after that.
Yeah.
Does that start in January? Like
February?
It's going to be in February. So basically,
2 weeks.
Instead of the All-Star break, we're having Four Nations.
Gotcha.
That's about the same time of year.
Yep.
Okay.
But that's all I got, boys. How you feeling?
Same.
Good.
I'm
feel
good.
great. Yeah, I feel teammates. Yeah, I'm feeling good on the team.
That was good.
Well, thanks for joining us, Tyler. It's good to finally have
Thanks
you
for
on,
having
buddy.
me. Thanks,
Thank
brothers.
I'll be having
Appreciate
another
you guys.
beer. I don't know about you, but
You better believe it.
got to kill some time until the Henderson game starts. We'll talk about Henderson another time.
They start at the game starts at 5, so we get time for another beer.
Oh, well then.
Until then, stay gold.
Stay gold.
Yeah, stay golden, boys.